welcome to the stream. Tuesday, Higurashi reading time. The last Higurashi for a bit. Last Higurashi stream here for a bit. Only for a small bit. Until next Tuesday, so a week from today. Nothing on Saturday coming up. So let's make this one count. Real Life Plans said no. You cannot read Higurashi on Saturday. And then I stared Real Life in the face and I said, honestly, that's okay. I'm okay with that decision. I said, you know what? I'm okay with that. Let's see. Let's do a quick recap as this loads up here. Last stream was the Rina hitting the hitting my stomach. I don't know if that got picked up on mic, but my stomach just made a gurgly noise. I'll have to watch that part. It went like that. I put too much spices on my food tonight. Too much. I went a little crazy in the kitchen tonight. I got to admit, I experimented a bit too much. They shouldn't have let me cook. We'll see. I should be fine. But no, let's see. Last stream of Higurashi was Rina finally hitting the tipping point as far as what's been getting to her thinking everyone's against her. She basically previously was like overhearing things, thinking people were out to get her. She thought the Sonozaki family was then out to get her. So then she hit away back at her hideaway spot at the dump. She also thought people were coming to get her at her house, when it was more that people were more worried for her and trying to protect her as she was slowly reaching the deep end kind of thing. There was the incident where then she's at the dump and then she saw people coming to try to get her and she thought they were Sonozaki people, but it actually, most likely it seems it's beginning police people, because the police people were the ones who were then told off by the Sonozakis that she maybe went to a different area. So that was the key part of realizing that, although it was kind of obvious, I think, slightly before that. But, yeah, she thought Sonozaki people, so she thinks Mion's totally against her. Then there was the incident with Rika coming up to her. They had a little discussion, and then Rika kind of just like, well, my story is done here, and kind of just pieced away. So that was interesting. And then, the big thing towards the end, and I had to just recently remember this because I was like, I forgot that it ended so abruptly last Saturday. But then I rewatched right before coming on stream and was like, nope, it was abrupt. Basically, Keshi already has turned on, heavy air quotes, turned on Rina, at least in Rina's eyes. She feels like she lost Keshi, because Keshi talked to Mion. He was, convinced, oh, yeah, this is all crazy, whatever. So he tried to go back to Rina and tried to dissuade her from all this. She wasn't having any of it. She got so upset that she basically weaponized information seemingly that she got from Oishi about Kechi's past and why exactly he moved, his problems in his past place of living. And that kind of shook Kechi to the core a bit. He felt like, he was like, God. It was kind of a low blow, if we're being 100% honest. But he's like, there was a point where he was like, damn, I can't believe. At first he was like, I can't believe she's using this against me. I kind of whatever. But then he's like, what am I saying? If I knew that someone was, if someone else was like that and they were hiding it from me, I would also be upset, and I would also watch them with a careful eye, and I would think of them as kind of weird. or scary or threatening or something. He's kind of like, damn, and now I'm not good. Now I'm bad because we're supposed to be completely open in this friend group, and I'm hiding this thing from her, or at least that's what she thinks, is I'm hiding things from her. Again, Rina kind of uses it as a weaponized thing. Kind of, like I said, low blow, in my opinion, because he was just trying to, like, calm her down. She's, like, not having any of it. So basically, to flip the conversation on him, she uses that. And like I said, it kind of just ended abruptly there. Keshi feeling defeated. Clearly not getting to Rina. You know, not breaking through. I have a feeling we're reaching a massive breaking point here. If not in this stream, the next stream or so. But I think we're very close to a lot of badness, but also a lot of sadness, you know? If not already. I felt, honestly, a lot of sadness last stream. I remember finishing up Parting Ways, ending stream, and then that night I kind of was like, God, it didn't have to be like this. I was slightly bummed about it all. I was feeling not great. It was sad. A little sad. Also, for those keeping track at home, I have yet to hit any kind of story split thing about good endings or bad endings. So I imagine that's got to come up soon. We know at some point that shows its face here in this chapter. So, not sure if that'll be tonight or another night. But it's somewhere. It's hidden. It's hidden somewhere as if it's like a daily double in the game of Jeopardy. It's waiting for me to hit it, and then it goes ba-doo, 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 ba-doo. And then I make a very conservative bet, because in my head I'm thinking if I'm playing Jeopardy, I'm ahead by like a couple thousand on each of my competitors. And if you bet too much and fail, like that's like a worst nightmare. I'd feel so embarrassed, and like my confidence would be shaken for the rest of the game. If you just bet a little, then you're like, you lose it, it's no big deal. You win, you just increase your lead a little bit more. You don't want to show off to your competitors. You want to be nice. You want to be humble, you know? I mean, I'm the bastion of humbleness. I'm so humble. I couldn't be more humble. I'm also super intelligent, super attractive looking, and incredibly humble. No. Alright. Let's, as Mario says, let's go. What new horrors will reveal themselves tonight? Buildings. At lunchtime the next day, everybody in class was talking about Rina's disappearance. We were all worried about her safety, but I kept a safe distance from everybody else. My lips feel like particularly dry tonight, Jesus. Not to get TMI, but man. Not conducive. Dude, I read that last sentence, and I swear, like, that's not what I wanted to happen. Oh, God, get out of here. I didn't know how to. Oh, it's a disaster to start the stream. I read at lunchtime, and like 2 or 3 times during that sentence, my lips like touched, or my lips touched. No, they stuck together. Pardon me. I have some water. Let me try to. My dry, I'm going to say something that sounds really gross. My dry, sticky lips are trying to prevent me from reading. How dare my body betray me like this? Alright, so we were all worried about her safety. Great. I do wonder where she went. Someone said that she was demoned away. That's all you have to say, Mion? How can they say such things? Can't believe their nerve.
圭一さん、今日は元気がありませんでしたよ。
Kechi-san, you look down today.
み
Me. Satsuko and Rika-chan noticed something odd about my attitude.
俺は
Oh, now I'm sneezing. Oh my god. Should I just restart the stream? Terrible. Terrible form. Bad streamer. Bad professional streamer. Okay. Let's focus. I couldn't sleep at all last night because of what Rina told me. Friends don't keep secrets from one another. That sentence bit into my heart. I couldn't sleep because of the pain.
ミオ
Mion,
サトコもリカちゃんも
Satsuko, and Rika-chan too.
話しておきたいことがある
I have something I need to talk to you about.
レナに関すること？
Is it about Rina?
いやそうじゃない
No, it's not.
俺自身についてのことなんだ
It's about me. I decided to tell them about it because they were my friends. But I didn't know what I was expecting to change by doing so. They might despise me. Was there any benefit in telling them? No, there wasn't. I knew that for sure. But I still wanted to tell them about it just because I thought it'd help heal the pain I was feeling.
圭一さんのことですの？
What is this about, Kechi-san?
ああちょっと真面目な話なんだ
Well, it's the truth about myself.
聞いてほしい
I'd appreciate it if you listened to me.
俺が引っ越してくる前のことなんだ
It's about what happened to me before I moved here.
当時の俺は勉強しか脳のないやつだった
I was the kind of guy who wasn't good at anything but studying. I learned the tricks of the game called studying at my cram school. I enjoyed the sense of superiority I felt by getting good grades. I kept studying just because I wanted to look down on the other students. When my grades got better, my parents got happier and my teachers praised me. I felt good. It was fun to look down on the students who were good at running, dodgeball, or swimming. That was the only reason I kept studying. Before I knew it, not only was I at the top of my class, I was the top of my school. So, I started to think I was the most important student there. I looked down on the kids who were playing in the schoolyard during lunch break. I enjoyed feeling a sense of superiority to them in my insignificance. The more I studied, the better everybody expected me to do. They started to place high hopes on me. They expected me to go to the best school in Japan. I flattered myself in thinking I deserved to go to that school as well. But the fun went out of looking down on people when the burden of studying didn't change a bit. My classmates stopped admiring my cleverness after a while, and my teachers started to push me to study more. All of a sudden, the fun had gone out of it. To begin with, I didn't even like to study. I had average reflexes. I was average in a fight. I was an average boy with nothing that really drew attention. So when I found something that I could use to get that attention, I jumped on it. It happened to be studying for me, but if it was riding unicycle or juggling, I would have done that too. When I realized I didn't enjoy studying anymore, it got very boring. I was just a little boy who wanted to be praised when I did something better than anybody else. I finished all my summer homework because my parents praised me for it, and I took charge of cleaning duties at school because my teachers praised me for it. So when they stopped praising me for what I did, I began to feel as though my life had no meaning. My parents used to give me an allowance that was proportional to how good my grades were, so I used to get a substantial amount of money for my age. I don't know if I had a natural interest in violence or if I was looking for it because of my frustration at the time. I took an interest in BB guns. At first, I shot at cardboard boxes. It was fun. Being violent at pieces of cardboard relieved a lot of stress. Nobody blamed me for doing that. But soon, I started wanting to do something I should never have done. On the box that my BB gun came in was a warning label that read, "Do not shoot at people." That was when I thought about doing just that. Damn. Why did I do something I shouldn't have? I guess I was just immature. I wasn't interested. Insert the fucking DW meme from Arthur, where it's like, that sign can't stop me because I don't know how to read. But just like Ketchy's face. I wasn't interested in studying anymore, but I forced myself to do so anyway. My parents forced me to go to several cram schools. I was mad at them for that. I should have told them I didn't want to study anymore, but I didn't have the courage to do that. So, I used my frustration as an excuse to do something cowardly. I shot at kids who were younger than I was with my BB gun. It gave me such a thrill. It felt so good to do something bad when I was so overcome with studying. Needless to say, I had no personal grudge against the kids I shot. As long as the kids passed through a deserted street, they met the requirements to become my target. I didn't mean to hurt them. I shot at them once or twice from a distance. That was all I wanted to do. But sometimes they didn't react at all because the BBs hit a thicker part of their clothes or something. I didn't like that, so I started to shoot until they noticed they were being hit. It inevitably escalated into a barrage of gunfire. I study a lot, doing something good, so I deserve to do something bad to balance out the good thing I'm doing. That was the unbelievably selfish excuse I made. I thought I had a right to do things like that because I was suffering myself. I thought people who weren't suffering like I was deserved to be shot at and to get hurt a little bit. I was so selfish, so arrogant, and so immature. I was disgusted with myself. If I could have met myself at that time, I would have given myself a punch in the face so hard that I'd knock out all my teeth. They started to call it a series of attacks on school children. The principal of my school held a morning assembly to inform everyone about the case and to warn them to be careful when playing outside. I was laughing sneakily. The PTA issued a letter of warning and advice to take the safest way to and from school. Parents took turns watching kids when they walked between home and school in groups. The more serious it got, the more it reminded me of the excitement I first felt when my grades started going up. I was absorbed in that game I was playing. I didn't think that I'd get caught someday. Didn't even think to stop doing it either. One day, I found a little girl who was walking down a narrow, dark street all alone. She was a very small girl. I don't know if she was on her way to her friend's house or if she was running an errand. I didn't care which. It was careless of her to go out alone. The school had warned her not to. So, it was her fault. Just like always, I made a selfish excuse and attacked her. Some of the shots hit her in the back. She noticed she was attacked by somebody. She turned around. It was a natural reaction. At that time, I didn't hesitate to rain hell upon her. So when she turned around, I was still shooting at her. Usually when I shot at a kid, she cried in pain and ran away. But this girl was different. She thrashed around in excruciating pain, holding one of her eyes. When I saw her doing that, I realized what had happened right away. The BB had hit her in the eye. Until that moment, I didn't think about what would happen when a pellet that could easily go through a cardboard box hit an eyeball. Anyway, the girl howled in pain, and for the first time, I realized I had done something horrible. She saw me, so I couldn't take her to a hospital. I couldn't do anything about it, so I left her there while she was still screaming in pain. Wait. Damn. Oh, he's saying she saw me, so I couldn't take her. So she saw me basically do the thing, so I can't then in turn take her to the hospital because it's going to be pinned on me kind of thing. That's what he's saying there. Okay. So yeah, so I left her there while she was still screaming in pain. I wondered if she was okay, and I worried that she had lost her eye. I kept thinking about her. I didn't even feel like eating that day. I went to the bookshelf in our living room, snuck a medical book to my room, and studied the structure of the human eye. It was too late to make a difference, but I studied what kind of injuries would make a person lose their vision. I knew it wouldn't make the sin I committed weigh any less, even if I found out that she wouldn't lose her sight. I couldn't sleep that night, and I suffered from a high fever. It wasn't my parents, my teachers, or the police who first punished me for what I did. It was my own body. Before dawn, I woke my parents up and confessed my sin. They were shocked at first, but it seemed like they understood the situation quickly due to my recent disobedient behavior and my interest in BB guns. My mom cried hysterically. My dad slapped me in the face till it swelled up. Before the sun came up, I turned myself into the police, accompanied by my parents. Satoko stared at me with a stunned expression. I deserved to receive that kind of look. What I did was very wrong, and I need to accept that.
それ本当ですの？
Is that all true?
ああ、
Yes,
本当だ。
it's all true.
今まで隠していて
I'm
悪
sorry.
かった。
I'm sorry I didn't tell you until now.
なんでそんなことを今頃になってわざわざ言おうと思ったわけ？
What made you want to tell us? Neon asked me. Rika-chan nodded in agreement.
本音から言うとさ、
To tell you the truth,
ケイちゃんどうしたのって感じかね。
I don't understand why.
まあそりゃそうだよな。
Well, I know, but
違うよ。
no.
そんなことわざわざ言い出す必要あったのかなってね。
I'm just saying that I don't see any reason why you had to tell us about it.
いや
Well,
隠し事をするなんて仲間じゃないよな。
I didn't want to keep secrets from my friends.
俺はみんなのことを仲間だと思ってる。
You're my friends.
だからもう隠してなんかいられなかったんだ。
So I couldn't hide it from you anymore.
圭一はそれを僕たちに話して何を期待しているのですか？
What are you expecting us to do? Honestly, Rika with the important question there.
期待なんて別にないよ。
I'm not expecting anything.
俺はただ
I just...
許しが欲しくても僕にはあげられないのです。
If you're asking for forgiveness, I can't give it to you.
圭一が怪我をさせた人たちにしかそれは与えられませんのです。
You have to ask the kid you attacked if you want that.
だから僕たちにそれを話しても何の期待にも応えられないのですよ。
It won't help any to tell us about it.
リカの言う通りですわね。
I agree with Rika.
潔いのは認めますけれど、そんなことを私たちに打ち明けてどうしたいって言うんですの？
I think you're really brave to tell us, but I don't understand what you want to do from here on out.
どうしたいってことはないよ。
I don't want to do anything.
ただ仲間に隠し事は
I just thought it's not right to keep secrets from my friends. They're like, we don't... Not that they don't care, but it is, I think, an appropriate reaction for them to just be like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, we're not the ones you wronged here. And they also don't have the context of the whole exchange prior with Rina, right? So they don't know what's the impetus for him doing this. Oh, Keiji. Okay. My friends looked annoyed by the sudden confession of my past. I took it as bitter medicine. I got what I deserved.
ケイちゃんさ、
Kei-chan,
ちょいとここで質問なんだけどさ、
I have a question.
仲間に隠し事ってしたらいけないわけ？
Why can't friends keep secrets from each other?
え？
What?
ケイちゃんの論法だと隠し事をしないのが仲間みたいな話だけどさ、
I mean, that's what you're saying, but
おじさんはそんなの嫌だね。
I really don't agree.
僕も嫌です。
I don't agree either. Now, this is coming kind of rich from the two of them here, especially because they're... I love them to death, but they're the two characters who probably have the most secrets to probably keep from the rest of the friend group, right? And maybe that's intentionally why it's doing this right now. Like, obviously, obviously Rika would be like, hey, I think it's kind of good, it's fine if we keep secrets. A little bit of secrets. Mion and Rika-chan obviously disagreed with my statement. Satoko nodded, following suit.
言いたくないことを言わないで何が悪いわけ？
I don't think it's wrong to refuse to tell people things you'd rather not.
人には話したくないことや辛いこと、悲しいこと、失敗したことや思い出したくないことがたくさんある。
We all have lots of things we don't want to tell anyone else about, like tragedies, mistakes, and other things we don't want to remember.
それを全部打ち明けないと仲間と呼べないんなら、私はそんな仲間はいらないね。
If I'd have to tell someone everything to be true friends with them, I wouldn't want to have them as friends at all.
でもそれじゃ
But...
圭一、
Keiichi?
打ち明けなくていいことと打ち明けなくてはならないことは違いますのです。
There's a difference between things you don't need to confess and things you have to confess.
罪は許しを得るために打ち明けなくてはならない。
You have to confess what you did to receive forgiveness.
でも打ち明けて許された罪はもう打ち明ける必要はないのですよ。
But once you're forgiven, you don't need to keep confessing.
そうですわね。
Quiet. Quiet or quiet?
だって圭一さんはちゃんとおまわりさんのところに行って怒られてきたんでございましょう。
You turned yourself into the police, and they scolded you good, did they not?
それで償いをして許してもらえたなら、それで圭一さんの罪はおしまいですわよ。
You atoned for your sin, and you're forgiven. What more do you have to do?
自首してその結果を受け入れたなら、それでケイちゃんのお勤めは終わりだよ。
You turned yourself in, and you accepted the result. You did what you had to do.
もちろんケイちゃんが罪の十字架を背負い続けることはとても大切なこと。
It's very important that you keep reminding yourself of your sin,
二度と過ちを繰り返さないよう常に胸に刻み続けるのは正しいことだよ。
so that you won't make the same mistake again.
でもね、それはケイちゃんが自戒することであって打ち明けなくちゃいけないことではない。
But you only have to take care of that on your own. It's not something you have to confess to everybody.
そうですわよ。
That's very true.
過去の恥ずかしい話なんかは私も内緒にしたいことがたくさんございましたよ。
I have many embarrassing stories I'd rather not tell anyone. Me,
さとこは特にいっぱいいっぱいありますのです。
Satoko does have quite a lot of them.
私だけじゃございませんのよ。
It's not only me.
リカもですわよ。リカもですわよ。
Rika has a heap of them too.
み
Me. Noises. Satoko and Rika-chan fooled around with each other like they always did. There's thunder outside. Uh-oh. I'm scared because, randomly, in the middle of work today, my apartment power went out for, like, just a minute and then came back on. I was like, so hopefully that doesn't happen while we're here. I don't know what I'd do as far as stream wise. Well, obviously if the power goes out, then the stream would just cut out. But I don't know how I'd stitch. I'll have to figure out. I'd have to get back here and save. Oh, well, we won't worry about it. Don't bring the juju here. I should be saying to myself. Mion looked at them and looked back at me.
今サトコはとてもいいことを言ったと思う。
Satoko just said something very important.
ケイちゃんにはどの部分かわかる？
Did you get it?
過去の話は内緒にしたいというところか？
You mean the part where she said she has a dark past that nobody needs to know about?
違う。
No.
その次の部分。
The bit after that.
誰にだってあるってところだよ。
She's saying that everybody has something they'd rather hide.
無菌室の試験管の中で育った人間でもない限り、人の人生は試行錯誤の繰り返しだと思う。
Considering that nobody grows up in a sterilized room, we all learn by trial and error. That's called life, you know?
いいことも悪いことも、いろいろなことを繰り返して成長して、それで最後の最後に素晴らしい人間になれればいいんじゃない？
You do both good things and bad things in order to grow up. Your goal is to become a wonderful person by the end.
いいことも悪いことも、すべてとても大切な経験なんだと思う。
Everything that happens is a very important experience, including both the good and the bad.
それは誰でも同じで、ケイちゃんだけじゃない。
The same
私にも、サトコにも、リカちゃんにも。
the same goes with everybody. With Satoko, Rika-chan, and me too.
いや、クラスの全員にも当てはまることなんだよ。
The same applies to everybody in this class.
例えばミーはもっと昔は札付きの悪猫さんだったのですよ。
For example, me used to be a very bad girl.
にゃーにゃ
Meow.
まあ本当はあんまり言いたかないんだけどね。
Well, I'm not proud of it or anything.
私から見ればモデルガンで闇討ちなんてかわいいもんだって。
But shooting at people with a BB gun is like nothing compared to what I did.
私なんかレンガとか投げつけてたよ。いやほんと。
I used to throw bricks at people.
警察に何度お世話になったことやら。
I can't even count how many times I ended up in a cell at the police station.
ダム戦争の最中はちょっとした留置場常連だったよ。
During the dam conflict, I was a regular there.
いや本当に。
I'm not kidding. It's all true.
でも昔のことなのですよ。
But it happened in the past.
そしてそれを 圭一に言う必要はないのです。
And she doesn't have to tell you about it,
仲間であってもなのです。
even though she's your friend.
仲間であっても
Even though she's my friend.
私だってとても言えないような苦い過ちや罪がいくつもあります。
I made a lot of embarrassing mistakes and committed some crimes too.
でも言わないのは言っても仕方がないからですわ。
But I don't tell you about them because telling you wouldn't help in any way.
言って楽になるなら私たちは聞くよ。
If you feel better by telling us about your past, we'll listen.
でもね、仲間だから言わなければならないなんてルールはない。
But there's no rule that says you have to tell us about your past just because we're friends.
むしろ仲間なら言いたくない過去を察してあえて聞かないのが本当の仲間なんじゃない？
I don't want to dig up a past that you don't want to talk about. That's what true friends are all about, I think.
それはそうだけど
I agree with you, but
ケイちゃんが打ち明けて楽になったならそれでいいよ。
we're happy if you feel better now by telling us about your past.
私たちは今日の話をすぐにでも忘れる。
We can forget about it if you want us to.
それに今日の話を聞いたからケイちゃんとの接し方を変えるようなこともない。
We'll never change the way we see you because of this.
圭一が前の町でしたことなんて今の圭一と何の関係もないのです。
What you did in the city has nothing to do with who you are right now.
今の圭一が僕たちにとってかけがえのない仲間であるのなら前の町のことなんか僕は知りたくないのですよ。
You're a precious friend to us. I actually don't want to know about your past, to be honest with you.
リカの言う通りでございますわ。
I agree with Rika.
逆に前の町でどんなに善行を積もうともこちらに来て嫌な人だったなら前の町の善行なんかしたことじゃありませんわね。
The same thing goes the other way around. Even if you did something great in the city, but if you were a nasty person here, I wouldn't care what great things you did back then.
ってことはさ、ケイちゃん、
Yeah, it's the whole what'd you do for me now type mentality. In other words, Ki-chan,
前の町での十字架はケイちゃんが密かに胸に秘めることであってこっちでわざわざ口にする必要なんてないんじゃない？
the sin you commit in the city is something that you should keep secret in your heart. You don't need to dig it back up just to tell us.
いや、仮に口にしてもだ。
I mean, you can if you want.
それでケイちゃんの見方を変える程度のやつだったら私はそいつの方を見下げるね。
And if anybody changed the way they saw you because of that, I'd look down on them.
過去が何だろうと今が素晴らしい人間であるならばどうして恥じることがございますの？
No matter what happened in the past, as long as you're a great person at present, you shouldn't be embarrassed of yourself. Am I wrong? I'm very curious if Kechi internalizes this conversation and then he gets over the fact that Rina brought it up to him in a demeaning manner. You know what I mean? Like, I'm curious. Hmm.
もし過去の過ちを一生取り戻せなかったら私たちは何のために生き続けますの？
What's the purpose of living if we can never earn redemption?
サトコは過去にとても甘えん坊さんでした。
Satoko used to be a big baby who couldn't do anything by herself.
それを後悔して今はこんなにも元気で頑張っていますのです。
She regretted it deeply, and now she's a strong, independent girl.
だから僕は今のサトコはとても素晴らしいと思いますです。
That's why I admire Satoko today.
昔どうだったかなんて僕は興味ないのです。
I don't care how weak she used to be.
リカ、
Rika,
ケイちゃんだってどうよ。
what about you, Ki-chan?
例えば私が留置場常連の札付きだとしたら私への見方を変える？
Are you going to change the way you see me because you now know I used to be a very bad girl who was a regular at the police station?
変えないでしょ？
You won't, will you?
私は私。
I am who I am.
いつものように楽しくふざけ合える関係は何も変わらないでしょ？
Our friendship won't change, and we'll keep playing and laughing like we always do, right?
それが仲間ってもんだもん。
That's what being friends is all about. See, I gotta assume that we're having this we're having this conversation because I would feel as if this should empower Kechi to not feel bad about the low blow that Rina dealt him. Now, is that going to be enough for him to then turn back to Rina? Be like, hey, you just trying to make me feel bad about that thing. And no one agrees with you. What? Wait. Oh, friendship will change. We'll keep playing and laughing like we always do, right? That's what being friends all like. Okay, so then, what? What's going on? Miana's trying to cheer me up with an encouraging smile on her face, but her expression became distorted all of a sudden. Oh, why'd the music cut out? This is weird. Big teardrops fell from my eyes. Oh, he's crying. Oh no, what? Why am I crying?
先に言っとく。
Let me just say this.
俺はサトシのことは何も知らない。
I didn't know anything about Satoshi.
みんなが隠してたからな。
Because you all hid it from me.
隠してたってわけじゃ。
We didn't mean to hide it.
毎年起こる事件のこと隠してたろ。
You didn't tell me about the incidents that happen every year, right?
それはケイちゃんを。
That's because we didn't want to,
怖がらせたくなかったってのか？
You didn't want to scare me?
それが理由で俺だけのけ者かよ。
Just because of that, you left me out?
いや、そんなつもりじゃ。
No, we didn't mean to. Mion didn't know what to say. She had tears in her eyes. She thought she did me a favor. She didn't know why it turned out like this. She didn't want to make me scared of the village, since I just moved here. What more reason did she need?
ミオンに直にダム現場で事件がなかったかって聞いたよな。
I asked you before, Mion, if there was a crime at the dam construction site.
ミオンはないって言ったじゃないか。
You told me there was none.
バラバラ殺人があったのによ。
But there was a dismemberment lynch murder.
嘘つきやろ。
You lied.
ごめん。
I'm sorry.
嘘ってわけじゃ。
I didn't mean to lie to you.
仲間ってのは隠し事なんかなしだろ。
I thought friends didn't hide things from each other.
そうだろ。
Right?
じゃあお前らは仲間じゃない。
So? That makes us not friends. What are friends? What are friends? What were friends to me? They were my true friends. They really cared about me. They were so nice to me and helped me feel at home in this village. I couldn't have been happier. Everything was great, wasn't it?
ケイちゃん。そんなのって。
Ki-chan, please don't. Mion seemed like she didn't know what to say. Her eyes looked moist. It was hard to believe she was really acting like this. It wasn't like Mion at all. I could feel her pain. She was in pain because she didn't know what I was blaming her for. She looked so sad, but I didn't notice her pain. I thought I was her friend. I didn't understand her feelings. I didn't trust her. I just used the word friends, but I didn't do anything like what friends were supposed to do.
そうだった。俺はクズだったんだ。
That's right. I was such a fool.
ミオンはミオンだったんだ。俺の最高の仲間だったんじゃないか。
Mion was Mion. She was my best friend.
どうしてミオンを疑っちまったんだ。
Why did I doubt her?
どうして。
Why?
ケイちゃんさ、最近元気ないよね。
Ki-chan looks down these days.
都会から引っ越してきたんだもん。
He just moved here from the city.
きっと今頃になって疲れが出てきたんだよ。
I guess the fatigue must be setting in.
それで風邪をひいたんじゃないかな。
He probably caught a cold as a result.
そっかそっか。
I see.
じゃあ栄養をつけさせてあげないとね。
Then he needs to eat something nutritious.
バッチャが今日おはぎを作ってるんだよ。
My grandma is making ohagi today.
いくつか分けてもらってケイちゃんへのお見舞いにでもしてあげるか。
I'm gonna ask her to give me some so we can bring them to Ki-chan.
こんなミオン手を洗んとね。
Oh, Mion, wash your hands first.
おいやリナちゃん、一つやってるんかい？
Hello, Rina-chan. Would you like to try making one too?
へえ、おはぎ作りって面白そうですね。
Wow, that looks like fun.
レナも一つだけ作らせてもらおうかな。
Yes, I'd love to try.
よいしょよいしょ。
Here we go.
そうだそうだ、いいこと思いついたよ。
I have a great idea.
なにみーちゃん。
Excuse me. I must be allergic to streaming. I was not sneezing at all, and then I turned go live and I sneezed like 3 times so far already. If you hear the mic just cut out, that's me trying to mute myself while it's going on. Rena says, "What is it, Mi-chan?"
あ、その小瓶何かなかな。
What's that little bottle? What is it? Yeah, no,
甘いおはぎだけ
I'm
じゃ
tearing
退
up
屈
just
しち
like
ゃう
him.
だろうからね。
It's not fun to only have sweet ohagi, you know?
うち一つにはクリティカルヒットでタバスコを混ぜておいてあげよう。
Let's put hot sauce in one of them. It'll wake him up for sure. That's right. That's what happened. They brought ohagi for me to get me better. They only tried to cheer me up. Why did I get so scared of them? Just because Mion knew I had lunch at Angel Mort, I grew terrified of her.
ケイチくん、顔色悪いよ。
Hey, you don't look good.
もう横になった方がいいと思うな。
Maybe you should go lie down.
そうだね。
That's right.
私たちはもう帰ろう。
Maybe we should leave. They just wanted to cheer me up with a joke. But because I look so serious.
じゃあね、ケイちゃん。
See you. Please get better soon. Hope we can hang out in the club together tomorrow. That was a normal way of saying goodbye.
明日学校休んじゃ嫌だよ。
I don't want you to be absent from school tomorrow, okay? First of all, have I ever visited any of my classmates who were absent with a cold? No, I haven't. I've never done such a nice thing to anybody because it's too much of a bother. But they did that for me. I understand visiting a friend in a hospital, but I just caught a cold. But they came to visit me with Ohagi just so that I could get better soon. I should have been thankful to them and said, I'll get better soon and I'm sure I can come to school tomorrow. So I'll see you then. That was what I was supposed to say. But what did I do instead? I locked the door. I closed the door and locked it as if rejecting them. What was I so scared of? What was I so afraid of? Why didn't I say any words of appreciation to my friends who cared about me? I was just so scared of the ohagi they brought for me. What was I thinking? It was impossible that there was a needle in one of them. There wasn't actually a needle at all. It was all in my head because I had read some manga about someone putting needles or razor blades in people's food. It scared me so much that I believed it could also happen to me for some reason. And I thought there was a needle in the ohagi. You're so stupid, Keshi. Why would your friends put a needle in food they only brought to make you get better? It was crazy to think like that. Even if there was a needle in one of them, I should have thought that it was some kind of mistake, and I should have believed in my friend's innocence. That's what a true friend would do. But what did I do? Pound. Splatter. Smash. I threw the ohagi that they spent so much effort making on the floor. I is such a dick. Why? Why did I do that? I got along so well with them. I moved to Inamazawa and I made friends for the first time in my life. They were my best friends. Meeting them was the most wonderful experience of my life. I'd probably never have another one like that for the rest of my days. I knew that, but I got scared and I doubted them. They noticed that I was acting odd. That's why they called the manager Irie. They thought a sedative might help me relax so I could rest and get better. That's why they carried me up to my room. Mion just wanted to make it fun. She's the kind of person who expresses her goodwill by making a joke out of it. I knew that better than anybody. She knew Irie would roll up my shirt to check my heartbeat with a stethoscope. So she was just trying to draw graffiti on my shirt just like she did to Toмотaki-san as punishment for the game he lost. Yes. That's why Mion took a felt marker out of her pocket. A felt marker. She brought a marker from home because she just wanted to do something funny. She tried to cheer me up by making me take a punishment for fun rather than nursing me, because that's just what Mion is like. She went to the trouble of bringing a felt marker to my house just because she wanted to cheer me up. Rina held me down tightly, and Mion came closer to me to write something on my shirt. Mion whispered the words she was going to write on my shirt. I heard them. I heard them clearly. I heard what she was going to write on my shirt. I hope you get well soon, Mion. I heard them. Then why? I should have known she wasn't going to do anything to hurt me. Then why? Why? Why did the marker look like a syringe to me? Why did I think that Mion was going to kill me? It was impossible. It was impossible. Why? Why did I misunderstand that Mion was going to kill me? Ah. Cry. The numbness in my head receded, and slowly, I felt blood start to run through my entire body again. How long was I squatting down there? For a few minutes? Or a lot longer than that? As I looked up at the clock, the hands weren't moving at all, as if they had stopped while I had my eyes closed. Really? The atmosphere in the room wasn't filled with insanity like it was earlier, but it was quiet and gray. Rita wasn't holding me down, Mion wasn't about to give me an injection. Was all that just some kind of illusion? There was no sense of presence other than myself in that room. It was an extraordinary experience, the kind I never had before. I was there, with Rina and Mion. I doubted my sanity for a moment, but at the same time, I felt some kind of relief, too. Scary incident was just an illusion after all. Neither Rina nor Mion would have done such a terrible thing to me. Tears started forming in my eyes. My emotions were running high. Why? It wasn't a question of why tears were forming in my eyes. Why? It was a question of my sadness. Why did I feel so sad? I don't know. You don't know? What do you mean you don't know? You do know. I was so stupid. What the hell was I doing? I was so pathetic and helpless. Mion just tried to cheer me up. That was all. I liked her so much. She was my best friend. She was older than me, but she hung out with me like we were the same age. She was the first one who came to talk to me in class. She was so nice to me. But Mion was lying down in an unnatural position near the window. She was covered in dusky red blood from her head to her chest. The red fluid splattered on the wall was Mion's. What had I done? What had I done? I would never forgive myself.
俺みんなのこと本当に友達だと思ってたんだぜ。
I truly did think of you all as my friends. Why? Why did all this happen? There was nothing fun in my life at my old school. When I talked to anyone, it was only ever about my chance of passing the entrance exam of the schools we wanted to go to. My life was shaded in gray. Friends to me were rivals and enemies to vie with for a school recommendation and test scores. My friends were taught me just how unnatural that was. This whole month was a blast. We raised the roof over lunch, art club activities, and the festival. A warm liquid flowed out from my eyes. To my surprise, it was my tears. I didn't have any obligation to cry for them, but I couldn't stop it. Even though they attempted to kill me, even though they almost killed me, I couldn't forget the memories we made during the past month. Or were those fun days fake? Was it an act that they kept playing perfectly to set me up until today? Was it only me who believed they were my friends? It couldn't be. Rina and Mion, they were my friends for real. Those happy days couldn't have been just a performance. Rina and Mion must have been forced by somebody to kill me. Or that an extraordinary existence called Oishiro-sama possessed them and took over their consciousness. Consciousnesses. No matter what it was, both Rina and Mion were my best friends. I was stupid. I was such a fool. Such a fool. Such a fool. Such a fool. I wasn't making any sense at all. I killed my best friends. They were my best friends. Then why didn't I trust them? Why didn't I listen to them? I beat them to death. Who did I think I was? I made it sound like I didn't do anything wrong. I felt like everybody went crazy except me. I was such a fool. It was the other way around. Of course it was. I was the only one who went crazy.
Kei-chan?
Ki-chan?
俺は なんてことをしてしまったんだよ。
I did something terrible.
なんてこと。
I'll never forgive myself. Mion was still alive. I have a memory of beating her to death because I couldn't trust her, but that's a memory from a non-existent different world. But even though it happened in a different world, I killed Mion. And I didn't realize how deep that sin was. I even thought until now that Mion was at fault for being killed.
どうしたんですのケイチさん。
What is wrong with Kechi-san?
わかんない。
I don't know.
ケイちゃん、落ち着いて落ち着いて。
Ki-chan, please calm down.
私は生きてるよ。
I'm not dead.
ケイちゃんになんか殴り殺されてたまらかってんの。
You didn't beat me to death. I mean, I never let that happen.
ね
Okay?
そうですわよ。
Quite.
ケイチさんごときに遅れを取るようなのは我が部にはおりませんでしたよ。
There's no one in our club whom you could beat to death, Kechi-san.
違うんだ。違うんだ。
No. No. Mina and Satoko looked confused, having no idea why I was crying. But I couldn't help myself. I learned just now that I could earn redemption by confessing my sin. But I could never earn redemption for this. Not from Mion. No matter how much I cried in this world, nobody could give me forgiveness. And so, I could never earn redemption for this sin. Right then, Chie-sensei came in and noticed me crying. You wouldn't see a teenage boy crying like that very often. Chie-sensei asked me what was going on, but at the moment I couldn't hear anything. Mion and Satoko looked confused. They didn't know how to explain the situation. Rika-chan approached me in the midst of my sobs.
ケイチは覚えているのですか。
You remember, don't you, Kechi?
レナとミーを殺したことを。
You remember how you killed Rina and me?
そうだ。
Yes.
俺が殺したんだ。
I killed them.
殺したんだ。
I killed them.
なのに俺は何の罪も認めずに、まるで自分は被害者のつもりで。
But I didn't accept my sin. I pretended I was a victim.
死ぬ最後の瞬間まで仲間を呪って恨んで。
I cursed and blamed my friends until the moment I died.
血がいっぱい出て、そして
There was blood everywhere, and
結局何の後悔もなく一人で勝手に死んだ。
in the end, I just died alone without any regrets. I clawed at my itchy throat in a phone booth. I didn't notice my sin, and I died alone.
ケイチ、
Kechi,
あなたの罪に気づきましたのですか。
did you notice your sin just now?
気づいた。
Yes, I did.
こんなにも今頃になって俺は気づいたよ。思い出したんだ。
It took me so long, but I just noticed it.
ここじゃない、別のよく似た世界で。
I remember what I did, not here, but in a different world that looks just like this one.
俺はなぜか仲間たちに疑心暗鬼を持って殺してしまったんだ。
I killed my friends because I couldn't trust them. We just gotta take a quick pause here because now we're starting, as if it hadn't already started previously, but now we have, interestingly enough, Rika approaching Kechi and saying, "Hey, you remember apparently the progression of events that happened in a different, as we've been calling, different universe or different timeline." Interesting. And we have finally Kechi becoming a character that senses the different timelines as well. The different things that have transpired.
仲間たちは俺に救いの言葉をかけていたはずなんだ。
They were just trying to help me,
なぜそれに耳を傾けられなかった。
but I didn't listen to them.
どうしてだよ。
I don't know why I didn't. scream. I didn't care if people were staring. I just kept crying. I wanted to transmute my sin to tears in order to squeeze it out of me. But the tears that were coming out from my eyes weren't my sin. They were just tears of regret for doing something irreversible. At that time, I felt something touching my head. I opened my eyes and saw Rika-chan patting my head gently. I didn't need any comfort. I didn't deserve any comfort from Rika-chan. But the words she spoke to me weren't ones of comfort.
圭一を許しましょう。
I forgive you, Kechi. What?
圭一は自分で自分の罪に気づきましたのです。
Kechi, you noticed your sin.
それはとても偉くて普通ではありえないことなのです。
It's a very difficult thing to do and not something everybody can.
だから誰も圭一の偉さがわからなくてそれを許してあげることはできませんのです。
Not everyone can understand how great you are, and hence, they can't forgive you.
でも僕にはそれを許すことができます。
But I can.
僕には圭一の凄さがわかるのです。
Because I know how great you are.
リカちゃん。
Rika-chan,
私は
this is a miracle.
だってこれはありえないことなのだもの。
You noticed the sin you committed in another world.
あなたが別の自分の罪に気づくなんて
That's
絶対にありえないこと。
impossible. That's impossible to do.
なのにあなたはそれに気づけた。
But you did it.
それはきっとこの地上に具現するどんな奇跡すらも霞むほどのもので信じられないくらいに尊いもの。
That is the most unbelievable and precious of miracles that could exist in this world. I didn't understand anything Rika-chan was saying, but I felt like she's the only one who understood that impossible memory I had.
なら
So,
今のあなたにならわかるはず。
you should be able to understand
リュウグウレナがどういうことになっているのか。
what Rina Ryugu is going through right now.
ああ、わかるぜ。
Yes, I understand.
あの時の俺と同じなんだ。
She's going through exactly the same thing I went through.
仲間のことを信じたくてしょうがないのに
She wants to trust her friends more than anything,
信じられないんだ。
but she can't.
どんどん自分がおかしくなっていくのにそいつがわからなくて世界の方がおかしくなったって信じてやがるんだ。
She's the one who's losing her mind, but she doesn't understand that. She thinks that the world is going crazy instead.
どうすりゃ救えるかなんてわからねえよ。
I don't know how to save her.
わからないんだ。
I have no idea.
だって俺はダメだった。
Because I failed.
結局死ぬまでいや
I didn't understand until I died.
死んでも気づけなかったんだ。
No, I didn't understand even after I died.
それをレナに気づかせるなんてどうやって。
So how can I make Rina realize what I didn't, even after that?
救えないよ、救えない。
I can't save her. I can't save her.
俺がそうだったからよくわかるんだ。
I know, because it was just like her. I was just like her.
どうやったってもう救えないんだ。
There's nothing I can do. Calm down, Keiji. I did fail. But that didn't mean Rina would too. There was no excuse not to save her because I thought she'd fail. After all, what did Rina do back then? I was totally going mad, but she risked her life to save me. In my room, in that world, I'd beaten her many times with a metal bat. But she was smiling. She knew I was scared, and that's why she smiled for me. I beat her so many times. Her arms were broken and her forehead was cut open. I remembered. Reina didn't block her head, even at the very last moment. She opened her arms towards me as she was looking for a hug. But I still doubted her and raised the metal bat up high. Reina told me then that it was okay.
私を信じて。
Please, trust me. My friend still told me to believe in her. She told me to trust her. But I still didn't. I lost it and attacked her. She was in danger. She was actually killed. But she didn't even block her head. Instead, she used her arms to reach out for me. Rina continued to say those words until the moment she died. Trust me. Please. Trust me. She risked her life to save me. Until her very last moment, she kept telling me to believe in her. But I didn't listen. For so long, I truly believed that I didn't do anything wrong. Oh, this is upsetting. This is upsetting, and I'm like all congested and tears. I think 'cause it just started raining, so it's like mixing pollen in the air, and so I'm upset and I'm crying basically, and I'm like, it just makes me sound like I'm even more upset than I am. And I'm like, I'm dreading because if this is all basically mirroring and flipping basically what had happened previously, like, I think this is now mixing with what I had guessed from the foreshadowing at the beginning of this. Is I think Kechi is going to have this conversation with them. He's going to be like, she didn't give up. She died to the very last moment trying to help me. And I'm pretty sure what we're gearing up for then, I would assume, unless it intentionally reverses, I think we're gearing up for Kechi willing to risk his own life to try to help Rina, just like she did previously for him. And I'm pretty sure what's going to happen is that Rina is not going to go down easily. And I'm just like, I can't breathe. I can't. Getting upset on a Tuesday. Okay. But I didn't listen. For so long, I truly believed that I didn't do anything wrong.
リカちゃんに許してもらえて少し心が軽くなった。
I feel a little bit better now that you've forgiven me, Rika-chan.
でもやっぱり俺の罪は同じ形で滅ぼさなきゃならないんだ。
But I still have to atone for my sin. The true MVP is Mion because she didn't do anything wrong in any of the chapters. Typical Mion win. Typical Mion W.
レナの目は俺が覚ます。
I'm going to do it in the same way Rina did for... I'm going to do that in the same way Rina did it for me. I'm going to save her. Rina risked her life to save me. She cared about me until her very last moments. She trusted me. She believed that her words would reach my heart. So she kept saying them. Until I cracked her skull. Jesus, the way that's written is so brutal. I don't care if I die. Rina died for me. I can die for her too. I was such a fool for failing to understand my friend's feelings. That's why I didn't understand what she was saying. But Rina might be different.
この世界はもう狂っちまった。
This world is messed up.
でもだからといって諦めていいなんてことはねえんだよな。
But it doesn't mean that I can just quit.
諦めるってことは信じないってことだ。
Quitting is the same thing as not believing.
俺はレナを仲間の絆を信じるぜ。
I believe in Rina and in our friendship.
だからまだ間に合うんだ。
That's why I can still make it.
惨劇は回避できる。
I can still prevent a tragedy from happening.
運命には抗える。
I can change fate.
俺たちはあがく。
We will struggle together
そして掴めるんだ。
to
その
seize
先の未来ってやつをな。
our future. Rika-chan nodded with a serious look on her face, and she put her hand in the pocket of her skirt.
ケイイチ、
Keiichi,
私も
I won't-
諦めない。
I won't give up either.
この世界から希望を失ってたまるものか。
I'm not going to lose hope in this world.
私は数えきれない失敗に疲れ果ててた。
I was tired from meeting with countless failures.
だから 世界が狂い出すことに諦めを感じるようになってた。
I gave up on this world as it started to go wrong.
だからもうレナがどうなろうと知ったことではないと昨べ思った。
That's why I kind of gave up on Rena last night.
でもそれは間違いだった。
But I was wrong.
戦おうとする意志がこんなにも美しく神々しくて、そして運命すらねじ曲げかねない奇跡が起こせることを知った。
I realized that the will to fight is such a beautiful and divine thing, and it can work miracles that can even alter the path of fate.
だから私はあなたと共に戦おう。
So, I'll fight with you.
もう一度戦おう。
I'll fight again.
何度でも戦おう。
I'll keep fighting
その先の未来に至れるまで
until I reach
何度でも。
until I reach the future.
リカとケイイチさんが何の話をしてるのかさっぱりわかりませんでしたよ。
I have no idea what you two are talking about. Thanks, Satoko.
覚えていないのは当然なのです。
It's normal that you don't remember.
ケイイチがすごいだけなのですよ。
Keiichi is a special exception. Huh?
私の高尚な脳みそではさっぱりでしたよ。
I suppose I'm too brilliant to understand what's going on. Rika-chan touched Satoko's forehead to hers.
でもいつかは思い出してあげてください。
But please remember one day.
あなたが抗えぬ不幸の袋小路にとらわれた時、ケイイチはあなたを救おうと全身全霊をかけて戦ってくれたことを。
When you're desperately driven into a corner of misfortune, please remember that he risked his life to save you.
ケイイチさんがですの？
Keiichi-san fought for me?
眉唾でございますわよ。
It's hard to believe.
ね、ケイイチ。
Isn't that right, Keshi? Rika-chan looked at me, smiling as if waiting for my agreement. I wasn't sure if I could risk my life for Satoko. No, I was sure. I'd risk my life for her. Satoko is my friend. If anybody tried to make her unhappy, I'd beat them up without hesitation. I'd risk my life to save her. There might even have been a world like that. I nodded to Rika-chan. Rika-chan nodded back to me, looking happy.
前原くん、何かありましたか？
Shut up, Chie. We're having a moment right now, alright? Go back to the teacher's lounge or whatever the fuck. Maibara-kun, is everything okay? Chie-sensei realized that I'd finally calmed down and she asked me that.
いえ、なんでもないんです。
Yes, everything is fine now.
騒がせてすみませんでした。
I'm sorry I worried you.
それより、ミオ。
Anyway, Mion. So rude to Chie. I gotta continue the bit, you know? It's kind of like my thing at this point. I basically hate every adult character in this game. And if I ever back down, then I'm showing weakness, you know? I can't have that. Exactly. What's my one rule in life is always commit to the bit. So can't stop it. Mion says, what?
何？
What is it? I walked towards her. Mion stepped back, not knowing what was going on. She bumped into the blackboard.
何、ケイちゃん。
What is it, Ki-chan?
マジな顔でどうしたの？
You look so serious.
え。
I held Mion tightly. She still didn't know what was going on, and her face turned red. Crying on her shoulder, I told her the following.
すまなかった。本当にすまなかった。
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
何がよ、ケイちゃん。おじさん、本当に何のことかわかんないよ。
What? What? What are you sorry for, Kichan? This old man doesn't really get what's going on.
わかんなくてもいい。わかんなくてもいい。
It's okay. You don't need to get anything.
わかんなくてもいいから
So
聞いてくれ。
you don't need to get anything, so just listen to me.
本当にすまなかった。そして、おはぎ。
I'm very sorry. And the ohage you made?
うまかったぜ。本当にうまかった。
They were really good. They were delicious.
元気が出た。
They cheered me up.
だから、俺、明日からちゃんと学校に通えるから、また明日も、学校で会おうなって、それが、言えなくて。
Well, I wanted to tell you that. I would go to school the next day. And the day after that, too. I wanted to tell you that I would see you tomorrow at school, but I couldn't.
今日まで、感謝の言葉が遅れて、本当にすまなかった。
I'm very sorry that I didn't give you any words of appreciation until today.
俺はミオンを、いや、仲間を誰だろうと、
I'll never doubt you, Mion.
二度と疑わない。
I'll never doubt any of my friends.
二度とだ。絶対にだ。
Never, ever again.
だからミオン、あの日の俺をどうか許してくれ。
So, Mion, please forgive me for what I did that day. Mion must have had no idea what I was talking about. Of course, I didn't either. I didn't understand what I was talking about. But my sin wasn't forgiven yet. I needed to confess my sin in order to receive her forgiveness.
ミオンが命を懸けてくれたことを俺は知ってる。
I know you risked your life to save me, Mion.
だからいつかミオンに何かの不幸が訪れたら、俺は絶対に命を懸けて助けるからな。
So, I'll risk my life to save you too, when you're in some kind of trouble.
絶対だ。約束する。
I promise I will.
ケイちゃん
Kii-chan?
照れるな。
You're making me blush. This is what Mion deserves. This is what Mion deserves. Mion appreciators, rise up! Mion's face was bright red. She didn't know what was going on. Satoko was blushing too, with a confused look on her face. But Rika-chan and I understood everything. We weren't going to accept a tragedy. We couldn't give up just because the world was going out of order. We were going to fight against fate to the very last moment. Mion fought for me. Rina fought for me. That's why I was going to fight for Rina. Just like she did for me, I was going to risk my life to save her. Good. I really need to get up really quick and blow my nose and go to the restroom real quick. Restock my water. So give me like 2 seconds. 2 seconds. Give me like 2 minutes. We'll be right back. Sorry. I can't breathe. Okay, I'm back. Very, very difficult to read. A very emotionally charged section of a visual novel when you're getting sad and also can't breathe and also sneezing a bunch and generally just being quite disgusting. I was like, the tolls this visual novel's taking on me and my body. Okay, let's refocus. Hopefully whatever I did there on that BRB screen assists in me being able to finish out for the night here. I swear, it's probably... I think whenever it rains around here, there's like some type of pollen or something in the air, in the trees, whatever the case is. Because it was like a few minutes into the stream when then I heard the thunder and the rain start. And immediately that's when I started getting all stuffed up and congested and sneezing. So I'm gonna blame the environment. I was doing my best Ketchy impression. That too. I very much commit to delivering the best reading experience to my audience, and I'm really glad you're able to appreciate it. And I would like everyone else who listens to appreciate the lengths I go to really simulate the experience, as if I'm putting on a play or a radio drama, you know? No, if anything, it was probably more obnoxious to have to listen to me like continue like muting my mic and stuff as I'm like, because I didn't want to like sneeze a bunch as I'm like, the worst thing that would have been the case was like during this very sad and emotional scene and Ketchy's having his moment and everything, you just hear me constantly sneezing in the background. But it's already pretty bad because I'm like sniffling a bunch and stuff, so. You know what? Honestly, let's just say I am crying. Let's just say I was lying about it all and that I am just so very emotional right now. It'll add a layer to the stream. Okay, here we are. The summit was being held at a traditional Japanese restaurant in Shishibone City. When a black car stopped in front of it, 3 burly cops got out of it, followed by Oishi. They were welcomed by Sonozaki Corps members in equally black suits. It was something you didn't see every day.
今日はお招きいただきまして光栄です。
Thank you for having us.
遅刻しちゃって申し訳ないですね。
We apologize for being late.
お客人、ご案内いたします。
I'll take you to the room.
どうぞこちらへ。
Please, follow me. There was a sign saying reserved at the entrance. Oishi made the situation so much worse. Dude, this is what I'm saying. We were joking about it a few minutes ago, but all the adults... I'm pretty sure all the adults just want to sabotage the good lives of many people. I mean, my shit list of the adults in this series is so long. It's Oishi. It's Takano. It's Tomitake. Might as well throw him in there. It's Ketchy's parents, because fuck them too. I don't need a particular reason. Chie? Bad. Principal guy? He's bad as well. They're all bad. No redeemable adult in this story. No redeemable adults. They walked through the restaurant's pretentious landscape garden, and they came to the gorgeous Japanese-style entrance. Tomitake catching strays when he's just taking pictures and dying. Hey, at some point... I mean, not to heap too much blame on him, but, like, at some point, it's guilty by association. At some point, you have to, and this is a key part. This is something I've been, like, in real life, I preach. And it's a motto, you know, me and a friend of mine talked about in depth like many years ago. But like at some point, especially in your adult life, you are judged by the company you keep. And frankly, Tomatake, him and his relationship with Takano, essentially is shackled. Why did I say shackled? Shackled to her, to Takano. It drags him down. Unfortunate circumstance for our guy here. So, they walked through the restaurant's pretentious landscape garden, and they came to the gorgeous Japanese-style entrance. Oh, hey! Remember, was it the end of last chapter? Yeah, it was. Where I was like, oh, cool, wouldn't it have been cool if, like, chapter 6 was, like, the mom, like, a mom backstory? That was, like, my theory at the end of 5. Because they introduced, like, they showed her at the end of 5. And I was like, oh, this would have been, to me, it was making a ton of sense. Like, I convinced in my brain that I was like, oh, like an origin story, or like her younger, or just about to have like Mion and Shion. Like, for some reason in my head, I thought that a lot of what could have been like explained with that. I was obviously wrong. Well, that was a lie. A woman in a kimono was waiting at the entrance, as was Kasai. Upon seeing the police officers, they stopped chatting and bowed deeply. The woman in the kimono was Mion's mother, Kane.
いやー、どうもどうも、園崎社長さん。
Nice to meet you, Miss Sonozaki.
本日はお招きをいただきありがとうございます。
Thank you for having us today.
ようこそいらっしゃいました。
It's a pleasure to meet you.
ご多忙中のはるばるのお越し、心より感謝いたします。
Thank you for coming all the way here, despite your busy schedule.
いえいえ、今日はごちそうになりますよ。
Not at all. I've been looking forward to the feast I'm going to have today.
ここの料亭は湯葉が有名ですからね。
Oh, I can't say this. Kiyomi Zute is famous for its dried bean curd, right? No.
どんなごちそうか楽しみです。
I can't wait.
それから笠井さんもお久しぶり。
Long time no see, Kasai-san.
直接会うのはだいぶ久しぶりになりますね。
It's been forever since we last met in person.
ご無沙汰をいたしております。
Yes, it has been a while.
まあなんかこの度はお互い戦争状態に突入しちゃってるようですが、白黒を穏便に大人のルールに従って決着できたらと思ってます。
Well, we seem to be at war, but I'm hoping we can settle this like adults.
こっちゃ全面戦争はいつでも大丈夫ですんで。
Although, we're ready for an all-out war. Excuse me. I really tried to hold it in there. That's why I didn't mute myself. I'm sorry. All-out war whenever you are.
いえ、
Jesus.
そのようなつもりは毛頭。
No, we have no desire to fight. Thank you. No.
そりゃこちらもやりたかないです。
Neither do we.
あんたが粘ると血の雨が降るって評判ですからね。
Everybody knows how messy things can get when you get involved.
私もいい年なんで、もう流血沙汰はごめんしたいところです。
But I like to avoid that as much as possible since I'm not that young anymore. Obviously, this was a meeting between people who hated each other. The tension in their words indicated that it wasn't likely to be a friendly meeting.
それではご案内いたします。
I'll take you to the room.
どうぞこちらへ。
Please follow me.
主催自らのご案内、痛み入りますよ。
I feel bad that our host is taking us to the table.
そうそう。
Well,
招待状の名前は私で出させていただきましたが、今日の主催は本家でございます。
I know we sent you the invitation under my name, but actually, today's host is the Sonozaki main family.
わけあって招待状の名前を変えさせていただいたことをお詫びいたします。
I'm sorry for the confusion.
本家ですか。
I see.
防弾チョッキを着に戻ってもいいですかね。
Can Can I go back and get my bulletproof jacket? No. I'm gonna die. On the other side of the door, there are several tables, and Mion was sitting at one of them. Since Mion was still young, her school uniform functioned as her formal dress. Still, it looked strange with both the police and the court meeting members in black suits.
これはどうも園崎家の次期当主のお嬢さん。
Hello. You must be the successor to the head of the Sonozaki family.
今日はお招きくださり光栄です。
Thank you for having us today.
本日はようこそお越しくださいました。
Thank you very much for coming.
まずはおかけになってください。
Please take a seat. Mion politely welcomed the police, undaunted even though they were older than her parents. Mion gave Kasai a look, and he tapped on the door. The waitresses, who had been waiting behind the door, started bringing out drinks.
おいさん、一体これは何のつもりっすかね。
Oishi-san, what's going on here?
さてね。
I'm not sure.
まあ、ここは舌鼓を打たせてもらいましょう。
Well, let's enjoy the meal first.
ここの湯葉は有名ですよ。
Their dried bean curd is really famous, you know? Oishi could die tonight, and as long as he gets this famous dried bean curd, he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay with whatever transpires. They started drinking, but the tension continued for a while. Mion made the waitresses and the other members of the Sonozaki court leave the room, and soon only Oishi and his subordinates, Mion, Akane, and Kasai were left in the room.
さて、
Well,
今日はどういうお話ですかな。
let's start talking about why we're here today. Akane nodded and began speaking.
本日は皆さんとの間に生じている誤解について解かせていただきたく、このような場を設けさせていただきました。
We're having this meeting today so we can resolve our misunderstandings.
ほう、誤解と申しますと。
Such as?
発端はとてもさまつでございます。ここにいる
Okay.
葛西が竜宮レナとの個人的事情により会見を求めたのです。
So I'd assume this is just a little ways beyond. This is them. Because Oishi and Rina together were like, hey, we're blaming the Sonozaki family. And then obviously the police guys were coming after Rina at the dump, and Rina thought it was the Sonozaki family, and obviously it probably got back to Mion / the Sonozaki family at some point that it was Rina thinking it was the Sonozaki family coming after her. And it probably also then came back, they're like, well, the Sonozaki family's probably like, why would Rina think it's us coming after her? It must be that the police were feeding information to her that was tainting the whole situation. Anyway, Kasai wanted to talk to you about Rina Ryugu for personal reasons.
よってこの度の件は葛西達義と竜宮レナ個人間のこと。
Therefore, this meeting is about the private circumstances between Tetsuyoshi Kasai and Rina Ryugu.
園崎組は関与しておりません。
Sonozaki family has nothing to do with this.
個人的事情って何ですかね。
What are these private circumstances?
片木の竜宮さんと極道の葛西さんにどういう個人的な接点が生じるっていうんです？
Ryugu-san lives an honest life. How could she have any kind of private connection with Kasai-san from the Yakuza?
葛西
Kasai?
はい、
Yes.
僭越ながらご説明させていただきます。
Allow me to explain. Kasai told the police officers that he happened to meet Rina at a coffee house in Okinomiya. He explained that Rina found something he lost there and that she offered to bring it back to him.
ちょいと無理がございませんかね。
That doesn't sound right.
まあ100歩譲って落とし物の話を信じてもいいですよ。
But, for argument's sake, why don't we assume that you're telling us is true?
その後がちょいとおかしくないですかね。
What happened after that doesn't make any sense.
竜宮レナを探して組の若い連中が動員されてるって聞いてますよ。
I heard that you told your members to find Rina Ryugu.
それに関しましては、この私めの手落ちでございます。
That is actually my fault.
竜宮レナさんが遅くになっても帰宅されないのを家人が心配されていたので、繁華街で見かけていることがないかどうか若い者に聞かせたのですが、その際に手違いがありましたようで。
Rina-san's father was worried about her because she didn't come home after dark. So, I sent my men to ask if anyone had seen her downtown, but I made a small mistake.
おうおうおう、ちょいと待ってくださいよ。
Wait a second.
こんな割烹まで呼び出して、そのヨタ話を信じろっての？
You made us come all the way here, and now you're telling us to believe this bullshit?
あんた、うちらの商売を舐めてんの？
Could it be that you're making fun of us?
ん？
Hmm? Oishi looked a lot more like a member of the Yakuza than the real Yakuza did. Oishi threatened them with a nasty smile, and it piled all the more tension onto the atmosphere in the room.
おいさん、まあまあ。
Oishi-san, please, don't. Kumagai tried to make him stand down. Officers with hot tempers pair with others who are good at calming them down, just like how Yakuza do. Oishi backed off with a grin. Kumagai took over, continuing from there.
それで、園崎家さんはどうおっしゃりたいわけですか？
So, what you're trying to say?
竜宮レナと
What are you
葛
trying
西
to say?
達義の個人的問題だから民事に介入するなとおっしゃりたいわけで？
Do you not want us to intervene because this is a civil matter between Rina Ryugu and Tsuyoshi Kasai?
そういうわけにはいきません。
That's not going to happen.
竜宮レナは警察で保護させていただきます。
We're going to give her protection. Mion opened her mouth for the first time in a while.
警察は竜宮レナを保護なさる理由をお聞かせください。
You need to explain to me why the police have to protect Rina Ryugu to begin with.
そりゃ決まってるじゃないかよ。
Why?
あんたらが狙ってるからだよ。
Because you guys are after her. Oishi answered bluntly, but Mion remained nonchalant. It's actually an interesting dynamic. I mean, we've already, like, multiple times, and basically throughout this whole story, the tensions and the conflict basically between the police force and the Sonozaki family is well documented. And so this kind of them coming at each other in this kind of setting, with basically Rina being the pivot point, for lack of a better term, is interesting. That must have made him all the more annoyed.
どうして東方が竜宮レナを狙っているとお思いで？
What makes you think we're after her?
そりゃあんたの胸に聞きゃいいだろう。
Why don't you ask what's in your chest?
ご自分のその胸に。
You might know something.
大石さん、
Oishi-san,
本日は皆さんの誤解を解くための会合です。
we're here to resolve our misunderstandings.
もちろん耳を貸されないのもまたご自由かとは存じますが、
It's your
聞い
choice.
た方がさぞかしよろしいかと思いますよ。
It's your choice not to listen to us, but I think it's better that you do.
ほう。我々が何の誤解をしていると？
Oh, and what are we misunderstanding exactly?
竜宮レナの持っている高野美代のスクラップ帳についてある重大な誤解をされております。
Your misunderstanding concerns the scrapbooks of Mio Takano that Rina Ryugu is in possession of. The officer's expressions grew stern all at once. All of a sudden, she had gotten straight to the point.
竜宮レナの保護は彼女が高野美代のスクラップ帳を持っているからなのではございませんか？
You want to protect Rina Ryugu because she has the scrapbooks. Isn't that right? Oishi and his subordinates glared back at her without saying a word, making it obvious that her guess was right.
葛西、
Kasai? Kana gave him a look and he left the room. However, he shortly returned. He just has like a couple of guns with him and he just starts lighting up the room. That would be a bad ending. Carrying a black suitcase. Every one of the officers assumed that there was a tremendous amount of money in the suitcase, and that the Sonozaki family was trying to buy them off. Kasai opened the suitcase and showed the contents to the police.
これは
Sounded like a gun being fired there. Are these...
高野美代のスクラップ帳です。
These are Mio Takano's scrapbooks.
残念ながら竜宮レナに手渡したと思われるものは含まれておりません。
I'm afraid we don't have the one she gave to Rina Ryugu.
これを本日の魚に致そうかと思います。
This is going to be our main course for today. Also, I mean, I'm trying to gauge just how interested I am in the fact that Akane is the one with the rest of the family here. I mean, I know she still has some kind of standing in the family, and we've usually seen, it's usually been said that, like, it's her and Kasai together as kind of, like, the thing. So, of course, we wouldn't see, like, Oryu get, like, dragged down here and been, like, and honestly, we wouldn't be able to see Oryu. So, like, I guess I am just interested that Akane is here and just in general. I don't know why. That's what I'm trying to be like, why do I find it that Akane is here interesting at all to me? I don't know. Do I think that maybe it would just be Mion being like... Would Oishi have been like, if it was just Mion and like maybe like Kasai, would he have been like, yeah, we're gonna go to this very tension-filled meeting with them? I don't know. I don't know what point I'm trying to make. For some reason in my head, it interests me that Akane is even here. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so these are Mio Takano's scrapbooks. I'm afraid we don't have the one she gave to Rina Ryugu. This is going to be our main course for today.
中身を拝見させていただいても構いませんか?
Do you mind if I take a look?
どうぞ。
No, feel free.
お話はそれを読んでいただいた後で構いません。
We can talk after you read them.
必要でしたら人払いもさせましょう。
I'll make my people leave if you like.
いえ、それには及びません。
Oh, no, you don't have to do that. The cops produced latex gloves from their pockets, put them on. I took one of the scrapbooks out of the suitcase. There were more than 10 of them in there.
それらは高野美代の死亡の際に沖宮の自宅から発見したものです。
We found them in Mio Takano's house in Okinomiya after she passed away. Oishi and the others desperately turned the pages of the well-thumbed scrapbooks.
これ間違いなく高野美代のなんでしょうね。
Are you sure? These are real?
間違いありません。
Without a doubt.
おいさ、もしこれらに類するものを竜宮レナが持っているとするなら。
Oishi-san, if Rina Ryugu has the other scrapbooks, that means...
おそらくは竜宮レナが持つスクラップ帳もそれらに類する内容でしょう。
Maybe the ones she has have the same kind of stuff in them. Oishi looked stunned by the contents of the scrapbooks. He started turning the pages faster, then closed the scrapbook roughly.
ここにあるスクラップ帳、全部がこんな中身なんですか?
Do all these have the same kind of contents as this one?
ええ、そうですよ。
Yes, they do.
納得ゆくまでご覧ください。
Feel free to take the time to look at them until you're fully satisfied. The other officers also rapidly turned through pages. They weren't reading them, just flipping through. They took one scrapbook from the suitcase after another, and flipped through the pages roughly.
おいさん、こんなのめちゃくちゃです。
Oishi-san, this is absurd.
たちの悪いオカルト小説ですよ。
These are just crappy occult novels.
冥界と現世が激突して霊魂が流入した？
This one says that the netherworld collided with this world and that dead souls float across the gap.
これを証拠として採用しろって言うんすか？
How are we going to use this as proof?
ああ、そっちは冥界の仕業なんだ。
Well, yours says something about the netherworld?
俺のは地底人の仕業って書いてあるよ。
Mine is about creatures on the bottom of the ocean. This one is about classified weapons of the Nazis. This one is about the legacy of the Mu continent. That one is about Oshi, the mysterious creature in Onigafuchi Swamp.
おそらく竜宮レナが持つスクラップ帳には皆さんもよくご存知の寄生虫説が記されているのだろうと察します。
We could surmise that Reina Ryugu most likely has a scrapbook about the parasite theory we've all heard of. The police were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. The other officers were shooting glances at Oishi. They hadn't said anything to him, but they never really believed in the story of the parasite, let alone the bioterrorism. But Oishi believed it and told them he had proof. None of the scrapbooks in front of them said anything about parasites, but it was easy to assume the contents of one scrapbook were no different in nature from another. I mentioned last time that I wanted those theories, or the... At least I got one. I didn't think I said I wanted one, did I? That sounds a little bad. I think I worded it slightly different. I think I was drawing some kind of parallel. I don't think I was saying I wanted. Oh my god. Oh, Aizu. Well, no. I feel like my words are being misconstrued just slightly. In other words, all of them were just crappy occult novels. Well. Also, like, once one stream ends, once I, like, hit, like, end stream on, like, one day, so obviously back on Saturday, I completely wiped my memory about things I said. So if I said something that was, like, on the verge of slightly unhinged sounding, or anything, especially those types of comments I make that are, like, shoot from the hip kind of thing, there's no way in hell that I remember those the next day, or, like, a couple of days from that, so... I'm not saying it's, like, wrong for you to, like, bring it up or say something or whatever. Definitely not the case. But I don't remember. The thing is, I can't remember exactly. I remember saying something along that line, those lines, but I don't remember the context. Because I also vaguely remember thinking I remembered saying something along the lines of, like, talking about, like, the Avril Lavigne replacement conspiracy theory. But I don't remember what context it was. I know I was just talking about conspiracy theories a lot last time. A lot is said in these streams. I think the one thing I want to always get across is that there's a lot of talking filling up a lot of time in these streams. And it's kind of like stream of conscious. I'm just saying shit, and then it's just, you know, I can't remember particulars. But it's all good. I just don't think I said... I don't think my exact words... I'm going to have to go find... I'm going to watch the stream after tonight's. But I don't think my exact words... I don't think my exact words was I wanted Rina to believe in these very controversial conspiracies. But also, if I did say that... Exactly. FBI agent who is potentially listening to these streams, or if these streams are used as evidence in a court of law at some point in my life, all of this is jokes. It's all said for parody or something like that. I'll say anything to get out of any potential danger, any potential trouble I may be facing. Oishi appeared unable to accept the fact that was facing him. But now that he was actually looking at it, it was too difficult to ignore. Okay, so are we just seeing Oishi? You know, a lot was happening. Oishi, is he just having, like, regret now about how hard he was pressing? How hard he was pressing in the paint? With these scrapbooks as potential evidence? Because the whole thing was that he was never looking at the actual scrapbooks, right? That's the whole deal. Is that where his regret is? Is he like, shit, I was able to be talked into this crazy theory with just by Rina, who is clearly going through some kind of mental breakdown, and she used these nonsense scrapbooks basically to get me, but I didn't even read the content. Okay, well, guess what, Oishi? Guess what happens? You fuck around and then you find out. Put on your clown shoes, because you've been clowning. Honk honk, bitch. Alright. I gotta focus. But now that he was actually looking at it, it was too difficult to ignore. Honk honk as in like a clown nose, if that wasn't made clear. Mio Takano was an occult geek who had laughable ideas about the legend of Onikafuchi. But Rina took them seriously, and so had Oishi. The other officers could no longer stop themselves from laughing at their ridiculous scrapbooks. Oishi glared at them, and they stopped laughing. The main reason Oishi took the story of the parasite seriously was because the Sonozaki family was apparently after Rina Ryugu for the scrapbooks she had. Plus, Takano, the owner of the scrapbooks, was killed. Because of these two reasons, he believed in the occult B novel. Oishi was frustrated without a doubt. He had to accept that he was wrong. Oishi was eager for any information that could help him solve the series of mysterious deaths of Hinamizawa before he retired. A combination of the number of factors made Takano's ridiculous theory become highly credible to him.
いくつかお聞きしたい。
Let me ask you something.
高野美代はどうして
Why was Mio Takano killed?
高野美代についても富武二郎についても当家では一切関知しておりません。
We have no idea what happened to Mio Takano and Jiro Tomitake.
そりゃそう言うだろうな。
Of course you don't.
自分のことを嘘つきという嘘つきがこの世にいるわけはない。
A liar doesn't call himself a liar.
あらあら大石さん。
Come on, Oishi-san.
当家で始末したなら死体が出るとお思いで。
Do you think we'd do such a lousy job as to let the police find the bodies? That's a dope thing to say. Basically saying, like, hey, if we were in charge of this, we'd do such a clean job that, like, you wouldn't even be aware. Mion wore a cold smile. She had said too much. Akane cleared her throat as if to condemn the statement, and that made Mion shut her mouth. Oishi glared at the young successor, but he knew she was right.
じゃあ、リグレナをなんで追ってるんだよ。
Then, why are you after Rina Ryugu?
初めから追っていないと申し上げております。
We're not.
確かにそう見えてしまう誤解が生じたことはこちらのミスです。
I admit, it's our fault that we made it look like we were after her.
その点につきましては私よりお詫びさせていただきます。
For that, we apologize. The reasons which made Oishi take Rina's delusion seriously collapsed one by one. Mion and Akane looked at each other. They must have decided to let Akane speak. She did so firmly.
当家からのお願いを申し上げさせていただきます。
We'd like to ask you a favor.
当家ではこのような世まいごとの内容に踊らされて警察と事を交えるのは望むところではありません。
We don't want to be involved with the police because of nonsense like this.
伝え聞くところでは県警防隊本部の三海氏が公安部と調整をされていると聞いております。
We heard that Senkai from the police headquarters started work with the public safety division.
何かのさまつな口実をきっかけに当家に関連するすべてに対し一斉捜査を入れられるおつもりとか。
They're going to do simultaneous raids on our family using this case as their excuse. aren't they? That had been on Oishi's request. Oishi took Rina's story seriously, and he wanted to find the research facility that was developing the parasite he was intending to use as proof of the potential bioterrorist attack. But, as he had no idea where to start looking, he tried to conduct simultaneous raids on all the facilities the Sonozaki family owned in the entire prefecture, in cooperation with the task force for gang groups and public safety. Normally, the circumstantial evidence he had wouldn't be enough to get their cooperation. In fact, public safety doubted Oishi's source because they hadn't heard of any potential terrorist attack. They trusted their information network. But Oishi took advantage of his long career and his old friends, and he managed to get them to cooperate. Oishi's face broke out in a nervous sweat. Needless to say, he realized he was completely wrong.
当家もダム戦争の当時はいろいろとご迷惑をおかけいたしましたが、すでに昭和も60年代を前にし、時代の移り変わりを感じております。
We caused you some trouble during the dam conflict, but the era is reaching its end and things have changed.
そんな中、当家もまた弱きを助け、強きをくじく任教団体でありながらも、時代に即した平和的な路線を模索しているところです。
We're a Yakuza group that sides with the weak and crushes the strong, but we're also trying to achieve peace and stability, in line with these changing times.
そんな中、警察の一斉捜査を頂戴しては、手前どもの面目が丸つぶれでございます。
If we get raided now, we're going to lose face.
あんたんとこの面目なんて知ったことじゃないよ。
Who cares about your face?
叩きゃ誇りは出るんだ。
I know we'll find something with those raids.
一斉捜査は決行しますよ。
We're going to go through with them.
誇りが出れば結構ではございますが。
Sorry, drinking some water there. Okay, if you find something good, good for you.
出なかった場合、いくら大石さんといえど、決して軽んじれない責任問題に発展するかと存じますが。
But if you don't, you know it'll cause a big liability issue that even you won't escape lightly, Oishi-san.
上等だよ。牛と全面戦争するか。
Alright, sounds like you really do want an all-out war.
え？
Huh?
それをお望みでしたら、それもまたよろしいかと。
If that's what you want.
どうかお気が済むようお仕事をなされてくださいませ。
Please carry out your job to your own satisfaction.
当家はいつでも受けて立ちますので。
We'll take on the challenge anytime. Kane Sonozaki didn't betray Oishi's expectations. Although her right to become the successor was taken away, Kane had been through a lot more than Mion. Oishi couldn't back out now, but he knew it was the fight he probably couldn't win. Kumagai butted in, tried to calm him down.
一斉捜査を控えることに対する見返りは？
If we put a stop to the raids, what would we get in return? Mion answered this time.
双方の友好の証として、そのスクラップ帳を皆さんに献上いたします。
We'll give you these scrapbooks as proof of our friendship.
そのスクラップ帳があれば、まだ高野美代を出しに矛先を引っ込めることもできましょう。
I'm sure you can use them to cancel the raid attempts. These scrapbooks proved how ridiculous Mio Takano's theory was. Takano was dead anyway. Oishi could show people these scrapbooks and say he was fooled. He could still pretend the whole raid thing never happened. He might have to take responsibility for it, but if he didn't back off now, there'd be no doubt that he'd face a hopeless mess. If he was going to back off, it was now or never. The administrative staff at his station weren't exactly fond of him. If he made such a huge mistake right before his retirement, people who'd been looking for a chance for revenge would cut his pension with glee. His pension was decided by multiplying his base salary by a certain number. If they cut his base salary, there was no way he could avoid a big reduction. Aw, shit. Money talks, dude. My money!
おいさん。
Oishi-san. He decided to back off. It was hard for him to admit mistakes at his age. He grimaced with anger.
あとはクマちゃんに任すわ。
I feel like I should be more happy seeing Oishi have to like eat some humble pie right now. I only feel a little bit of happiness, but not as much as I feel like I should. Kuma-chan, can you take over from here?
ちょっと飲みすぎちゃったみたいです。
I think I had too much to drink.
私はちょいと縁側で夜風に当たってきます。
I'm going to get some fresh air on the porch.
失礼。
Excuse me. Oishi stood up quickly and left the room, making a lot of noise as he walked. Kasai closed the door Oishi left open. The room was filled with silence again. At that point, Kumagai opened his mouth.
園崎家さんの言い分は了解いたしました。
We understand your point.
警察としても一斉捜査が及ぼす各業界への影響は本意ではなく、それによって小競り合いを誘致することもまた本意ではありません。
Our intention isn't to cause trouble to all the organizations you own.
よって市内の平穏を維持するため、今後とも警察と園崎家で連携していくことを確認したいと思います。
So, I want to confirm that the police and the Sonozaki family help each other to maintain the peace of the city.
よってこの度の一斉捜査は見送らせていただきます。
Therefore, I'm going to put off doing the simultaneous raids.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you very much.
園崎家当主お領に代わりまして深く御礼申し上げます。
I'm sure our leader, or you, appreciate your concern as well.
約束に従い、このスクラップ帳は警察でお預かりします。
As you promised, we'll take the scrapbooks.
それから条件が2つ。
And there are two more conditions.
賜ります。
Go ahead.
1点目は、この場にないスクラップ帳を園崎家が入手した場合、速やかに警察に提出すること。
First, if you find the other missing scrapbooks, you must bring them to us immediately.
2点目は、竜宮レナの身柄を確保した場合、速やかにその身柄を警察に引き渡すこと。
Second, if you find Rina Ryugu, you must turn her over to us immediately as well.
2点目は認められません。
I was literally just about to say, like, there's no way they agree to the second one. You're asking for too much. I'm afraid the second one is unacceptable.
竜宮レナは妄想に取りつかれた一少女に過ぎません。
Rina Ryugu is in a state of delusion.
当家で速やかに身柄を確保した上で、しかるべき治療を受けられる医療機関を手配します。
We'll make sure of her safety, and we'll find the best medical facility we can take her to.
これは当人の権利でもあります。
She has the right to receive treatment.
その点につきましては当方も主張を引けません。
We can't accept that either.
当方には高野殺しを含めて竜宮レナに尋問する権利があります。
We have the right to question her about the murder of Takano
重要参考人としてです。
as a material witness,
容疑者としてではありません。
not as a suspect. Kane whispered to Mion. Mion, in turn, nodded and began to speak.
わかりました。
Very well.
2点目の条件を了承します。
We'll accept the second condition.
ただし、当方からも条件を追加します。
But let us add another condition on top of that.
竜宮レナの権利保全のため、当家から弁護士を派遣します。
We're going to send her a lawyer.
竜宮レナへの尋問はすべて弁護士立ち会いの下で行うこと。
You'll only question her in the lawyer's presence.
了解しました。
Understood?
ただし、1点確認を。
They keep layering requests. One more thing.
園崎家からの弁護士が意図的に派遣されないことによる妨害は認めません。
You aren't allowed to delay us, but not sending the lawyer on purpose. Next thing you know, one of them is going to ask the other to repeat whatever they say in red text. You know what I mean?
警察は竜宮レナの身柄を確保した後、直ちに尋問を開始します。
We'll start questioning right after we find her.
当家も問題ありません。
We have no problem with that.
ただし、竜宮レナの身柄確保時には、直ちに当家へ連絡をすること。
But you must contact us immediately after she's found.
可能な限り早く連絡するようにいたします。
We will as soon as we can. Akane cut in.
尋問をあらかた終えてから電話されても困ります。
You have to call us before you question her.
身柄を確保した時点でご連絡をお願いします。
You must call us the very moment she's found.
ここいらは互いを信頼した上での善意の取り決めでございます。
This agreement is made in good faith, founded on our mutual trust.
どうか夢保護にされることがないよう よろしくお願い申し上げます。
So please do be careful not to do anything that might waste it.
わかりました。
Understood.
双方による善意の取り決めです。
You have my word on that.
遵守に誠心誠意努力いたします。
We'll try to keep our promise with the best of intentions. Akane and Kumagai glared at each other for a moment. Surprisingly, Kumagai was very calm. He was always in the shadow of Oishi, who was loud and noisy, but he had as much guts as a superior did. Oishi was good at taking care of matters in a rough and threatening kind of way, but Kumagai was good at negotiations like this. The meeting ended and the police stood up from their seats. The tension in the room had finally ceased. Kasai put the scrapbooks back in the suitcase and handed it to Kumagai. Kumagai looked at Kasai, nodded lightly, and took what was offered him. Am I weird for thinking they're like basically like mirrored versions of each other? They're like one of them like like Kasai is like the evil, and I say evil very loosely because he, you know, all seemingly obviously he's got a interesting Yakuza past, but like he's very chill, but for purpose of what I'm saying, it's like they're like mirrored versions of each other. Evil version, good version. Cop version, Yakuza aid version. And it's only that fact is only like amplified when I see them like on the screen together. Plus they're both kind of like sidekicks for all intents and purposes. Who is evil Oishi? Basically who is the Wario to Oishi? Trick question. First off, Oishi is the evil version of someone, not the other way around. And I would say you know, in a weird way, without thinking about it too hard, and probably forgetting someone who'd fit a better answer. It doesn't necessarily, it's not as clean as a comparison I was making between these two, but I mean like Mion probably. Mion's a good version of Oishi, and they had these conflicts against each other. They have opposing forces. Again, it goes back to the whole Yakuza side versus police force side. I feel comfortable with that answer. Mion, in a weird way, it's not like they have similar body shapes or, you know, physical appearance kind of like these two do, but it's close enough. Yep, Mion's good Oishi. The Mario to his Wario, or Waluigi, if you will. Kumagai looked at Kasai, nodded lightly, and took what was offered him.
イタリー製の最高級カバンです。
This is a very expensive case made in Italy.
今日のお土産に含まれますので、どうかお持ちになってくださいませ。
Please take it as a souvenir from us. Damn, she's slightly bribing the police force with a Gucci bag. Take this briefcase, it's worth a shit ton of money.
いえ、お約束ではスクラップ帳のみをお預かりすることになっております。
No, we're only supposed to take the scrapbooks.
カバンは後日、園崎組事務所へお返しに伺わせていただきます。
We'll return to your office later.
それでは失礼します。
Thank you for your time.
園崎家当主お涼さんにもどうかよろしくお伝えください。
Please give my regards to the family head, or your son. The officers left after bowing to Mion. After making sure that the police had left the hallway, Mion sighed heavily and finally let go of her tension. She spread her feet on the floor, flapping the rim of her skirt.
いやー、肩が凝っちゃったよ。
Oh man, my shoulders hurt.
お母さんがやってくれればよかったのに。
Why didn't you take care of this, Mom?
バカだね。あんたの方が肩書きが上なんだよ。
Don't be silly. Your rank is higher than mine.
こういうのは年じゃなくて肩書きなの。
Rank is everything, not age.
葛西、中井に行ってビールでも持ってこさせて。
Hey, Kasai, Have a waitress bring me a beer.
あと外の若いのも呼び入れて何か冷たいのを振る舞ってやりな。
Oh, and you can let the grunts in and give them something cold to drink too.
ビールだけでよろしいですか？
You want me to bring only beer?
ああ、この子はダメダメ。
Oh, she can't drink.
オレンジジュースでも頼みな。
Bring some orange juice for her.
ちぇ、子供扱いして。
Orange juice. Don't treat me like I'm a little kid.
肩書きが上でも全然大人扱いしてもらってないよ。
Guess my rank doesn't matter to you, huh?
いくつになってもでっかい子供だよ、あんたは。
You'll always be a big baby to me.
それはそうと、
Anyway,
今回の一件、お父さんがだいぶ手回ししてくれてるんだよ。
your father pulled many strings for you this time.
よーく感謝しときな。
You should thank him.
葛西もね。
And you too, Kasai.
あんたも片木と会うときはもうちょい気を利かせな。
You have to play it smarter when meeting with the common man.
みっともない限りです。
I'm a little embarrassed.
しかしさ、あの大石をコケにするとはレナちゃんもやるじゃない。
By the way, I'm very impressed with Rina-chan for making a fool out of Oishi.
あんたの友達はつくづく大物が多いね。
You have many friends with good potential. I don't know. If I was Mion, I'd be like, yeah, she fooled Oishi maybe, but it was out of. She just absorbed him with her delusion powers. You know, like it wasn't like she did it intentionally. She. Whatever.
今度ぜひ母さんにも紹介してよ。
I'd like to meet her.
お芝居でも一緒に見に行きたいね。
We can go to see a play together or something.
葛西、今度レナちゃんに会ったらぜひそう伝えておいてよ。
Sai, whenever you see her next time, let her know I said that.
その時、また物騒な話を吹き込むんじゃないよ。
And don't tell any more creepy stories, alright?
もちろん分かっています、姉さん。
Of course, I'm well aware of that. With that, they successfully dispelled the magical power of Takano's scrapbooks. The whole mess shouldn't grow any larger. The only remaining problem was Rina. Where could she be hiding? Where is she? Is that it? Man, we didn't get any, like, Rina. Oh. I spoke too soon? No. Before I went to bed, I headed to my window to close the curtain. I saw the shadow of a person near the porch. Who could it be? Who could it be so late? Well, didn't have to guess who it was. There was only one person I knew who might come see me so late. I opened the window and looked more carefully this time. I was right. It was Rina. You know, Ketchy, now that you have, like, post other timeline clarity, not like, he probably can't access the whole timelines, but if he could, it might help his brain, or it might help that if, like, his brain was like, hey, only bad things seem to happen when people come to meet me at my house late at night. So I'm not gonna go down and meet Rina. You know, just for safety reasons. Like, it would be very funny to me if, like, since he like, he's like, oh fuck, I remember this thing that happened last time. Like, he could remember, you know, that other time where he murdered a couple people. If then he goes, oh, I also remember late at night meeting people outside my door, my house it could be bad. Post timeline clarity is a fun way to put it. I don't know how else to say it. Moment of clarity. I just keep going to the word clarity. I'm thinking like I hate to be vulgar, but there's it's funny because I almost said like unappropriately, like not, I almost said the phrase that's close to that, but it wouldn't make sense here. I almost said post nut clarity, but that's a completely obviously different thing. But then so I had to like try to like And I'm sorry I'm bringing it up, but I was very close to saying that originally, and then I was like, but why would I say it like that? It's like post, and then I was like, post timeline clarity. I don't know. It was Rena. She was just standing still under the light. I wondered how long she'd been there for. Didn't look like she was going to ring the doorbell. She was just standing there. Now, I still think we're bound for, like, bad between the two of them. I still think it doesn't end any other way than some kind of... There's too many signs for me this being like... I think the two of them going at each other. Despite this music box music being played right now. She was just standing there. She seemed to be asking herself whether to ring the doorbell or not. For how long had she been hesitating in front of my door? It looked like even standing was giving her a hard time. She looked very tired. I ran down the stairs, put my sandals on, and rushed out of the house. Reina looked surprised to see me, even though I came out after making a lot of noise. Reina!
Rena!
Is that you? Reina! She looked relieved to see me for a moment, but then she soon glanced downward and looked sad again.
お前、いつからここに突っ立ってたんだよ。
How long have you been standing there?
わかんない。
I don't know.
夕方ちょっと過ぎくらいからだったと思う。
Maybe since the sunset? Rena must have been staying somewhere outside for the last 2 days at the very least. And it wasn't like she'd been camping for fun. She'd been in a state of high tension the whole time, believing that someone was trying to kill her. Rena looked utterly exhausted. She seemed to have taken care of the deep scratch she made on her neck the other day with some large band-aids. The band-aids had cute pictures, but that only made the wound on her neck look more painful. It's like a bunch of like Hello Kitty like band-aids, and then like one like KFC Colonel Sanders like branded just trying to like cover up. I saw some band-aids soaked with blood on her arms and body too, and I could tell she made them herself. She had more scars than she had last night.
とにかく中に入ろ
Anyway, let's go inside.
う。この2日間、ろくなものを食べてないんだろ。
You haven't eaten anything for 2 days, have you? When I tried to take her in the house, she refused with a vague expression on her face. It wasn't that she didn't want to go into the house. It was more like she had to refuse because she thought she didn't deserve it.
もうね、ダメなの。
I can't take it anymore.
今のこの瞬間も
Even at this moment,
私の全身の中で
the maggots are moving.
ウジ虫がうごめいてて
Oh boy. Through my body.
かゆくてかゆくて溢れ出しそうなの。
It itches really badly and it feels like they're about to come out from everywhere.
なあ、レナ。多分それは何かの病気なんだ。
Reina, I think you have some kind of disease.
とりあえず今夜は俺の家で休んで、明日の朝一番で監督の診療所へ行ってみないか。
Why don't you get some rest here and we'll go to the clinic first thing in the morning.
監督ならレナの微妙な立場を分かってくれるから、誰にも内緒で診察してくれるよ。
He understands your delicate situation, so he'll see you in private.
もうダメ。
No. No.
自分でもわかるんだよ。
I know it.
富武さんがどういう最後を遂げたか、今ははっきりとわかるの。
I know exactly how Tomatake-san died.
私は必死にそれを我慢しているだけ。
Trying not to do what he did for as long as possible. Rina believed she was given some kind of suspicious drug that made her claw at her neck to death just like Tomatake-san did. She had convinced herself that it was going to happen. She wouldn't hear anything else right now. But she really wanted somebody to help her. She wanted help. But when someone tried to give her a hand, it looked like the hand of the devil. If this was some kind of disease, what a horribly depressing disease it was.
私ね、どういう最後になるかわからないけど、多分もうそんなに長くないと思うの。
Well, I don't know how I'm going to die, but I don't think I have much time.
そんなことねえさ。
That's not going to happen.
無敵の部活メンバー竜宮レナがそんな程度でくたばるかよ。
You're a member of our unbeatable club, Rina Ryugu. You're not going to die so easily.
ありがとう。
Thanks.
それでね、私
Well,
死んじゃう前に圭一君にどうしても謝りたかったの。
I wanted to say sorry before I die.
謝る？
Sorry?
何をだよ。
For what?
私昨日すごくいけないことを言って圭一君を傷つけた。
Yesterday, I said terrible things to you and I hurt your feelings. Of course. The apologies always come on your metaphorical deathbed. It's too late, Rena. The damage is done. Now get into his house and go get some food in you. She must be talking about last night. She trusted me, but when Oishi-san told her about my past, she felt betrayed. And after that, everything I did out of goodwill seemed like the opposite to her. I know what it's like. I once felt the same way about you, Rena.
私もね、昔引っ越してくる前、
Well, before I moved here,
とても悪いことをしていた。
I did many horrible things too.
いっぱい。
A lot, actually.
そうか。そうなんだ。
Really? I didn't know.
圭一君みたいにおもちゃの鉄砲で撃つのなんかと比べ物にならないよ。
What I did is beyond comparison. You just shot someone with a toy gun.
金属バットで頭が割れちゃうくらいに殴った。
I hit somebody's head really hard with a metal baseball bat.
みんな大怪我だった。
Everybody got hurt really badly.
他にもね、学校のガラスとかいっぱい割って歩いたり、それからね、
And I
それ
also,
からね、
and I also broke the windows in my school. And I know. But I don't care about any of that. You did that before you moved here. That's why you stopped being Reina Ryugu and became Rina after you moved here, right? To me, you're my best friend who's very kind, thoughtful, and fun. That's the most important thing. I don't care who you were before.
ね、私ももっともっといっぱい悪い。
So, I was way worse than you were.
圭一君のこと仲間じゃないなんていう資格
I have no
全
right.
然なかった。
I have no right to say you're not my friend.
それは俺もなんだ。
I felt the same way too.
俺も最初レナの過去のことを聞いて恐れた。
I was afraid of you because I heard about your past.
そっか、
Oh,
知ってたんだ。
you knew. Rena laughed sadly. She seemed shocked to find out that I knew about her history when she thought I didn't. I just gotta be open about this because my brain is now going. I'm like going in a couple places. So we now know that clearly Rika, in whatever she is and whatever her role is searching for one of these timelines where, to simplify everything works out for her, or works out for them, or works out however it is she is looking for, right? Again, I think this arc, this chapter, I should say, is going to end badly somehow. I would still think, just with how everything's going. Which leads me to question, I'm like, how do we get 2 more chapters? Because this feels very much like the main players, the main characters are realizing the mistakes they've made. We now have a couple characters fully admitting that they're aware of, like, other times where things had gone bad or wrong, or they've made mistakes and how they would fix it in the future. And so you would think, okay, this feels like what would have been a chapter 7, and then we go into a chapter 8 where then things are cleared up fixed, done correctly. But that's like, this is only 6. It's only chapter 6. So then you have to think, like, oh, what would 7 be then? What are we doing in 7? What's happening? Again, I'm very bad at getting ahead of myself here, but I'm trying to think. I'm trying to formulate, like, what would we be doing then? Anyway, she seemed shocked to find out that I knew about her history when she thought I didn't.
でもだからなんだよって思ったぜ。
But I was like, so what?
引っ越してくる前にレナがどんな大悪党だとしたって。
It doesn't matter how bad you were before you moved here.
それでレナはいろいろと泣いたり笑ったりしながら人生を積み重ねてきて、それでひなみ沢に引っ越してきて、誰にも恥じなくていい生活をしてるじゃねえかよ。
You've been through ups and downs with tears and laughter, but since you moved to Hinamizawa, you've been living a proud life.
前の町で悪いことがあったとしたって、レナはそれを悔いているならどうでもいいことだったんだよ。
The important thing is that you regret what you did. That's all that matters.
その結果、竜宮レナってやつが尊敬できる人間に成長できたならどうでもいいことだったんだよ。
You've grown up to be a respectable person. I don't care about your past. I should have noticed it earlier. Rina is Rina. That's why she's Rina Ryugu. I couldn't understand that simple thing when she said she wasn't Reina.
レナも聞いたろ。
You heard about my past too, right?
俺も悪いやつだった。
I was pretty bad as well.
バカだったんだ。
I was such a brat.
なんてバカなことをしたんだと後悔した。
I regret the stupid things I did.
だから引っ越しは人生をもう一度やり直すいい機会だと思ったんだ。
So, I thought moving here was a good opportunity for me to start over. I'm sure it's such a good basis for like the story, because obviously most I'm gonna say some very obvious things here, but like, so pardon me as I do this, but like obviously the audience for a visual novel such as this is mostly going to be, in at the very least, young adult to my age of like 75 years old. And so most people probably find the whole, like, maybe not to this extreme, but like feelings that are as if we have grown up and changed as a person and as people, as from a kid, and like our outlook on life and our perspective, and then things we did and things we regret as doing as kids and teens, and then, you know, getting older, and hopefully, I would hope, most people have changed quite dramatically and for the better as they get older, and then all this. And like, I mean, personally, like me, I can very much easily say, like, I feel personally like I was kind of like a shitty kid. I was a pretty shitty kid in my late kid years, teen years kind of thing. And it was like me drastically, like I always talk about, like, what really changed, like, not only my outlook on life, but also like just for the better, like me at 18, like moving states away for university and stuff like that, and kind of just like, again, like just burning any, you know, past little bridges I had with like what mostly I would consider like temporary friends that I had in like the school days and stuff like that. Like there was almost like a conscious effort on my part to be like, you know what, I'm kind of leaving the kind of person I was back when I was, you know, a kind of shitty teenager, and I'm leaving that for the good and kind of like restarting my life kind of thing. And like I said, that's just more of a personal kind of like tie to this, but I think like it's such a good, like I said, a good, what am I trying to say? Like a good relatability point for like the audience or the readers of a visual novel like this to be like, yeah, even though that these are like kids, and so the target audience, again, most likely is going to be like older. It's a very relatable thing to like latch on to and be like, yeah, you might have fucked up in the past. And I mean, obviously, again, extreme cases sometimes with these kids and stuff. And I'm sure there's some people that listen to this and be like, I did nothing similar or close to anything like beating people up with a baseball bat or something. It's like, okay, you're missing the point, but okay, good for you. I'm very happy for you. Or there's going to be the people that be like, I didn't need to change from what I was when a kid. And then again, I'll pat you on the shoulder and I say, good job for your service. Good for you. But yeah. I don't know what this tangent was going to, but basically what I'm saying is it's so good. It's a good. I appreciate this as like a thing that is, like I said, the audience I think is a good relatability point to be like, again, when you start peeling back some of the layers, you're like, oh, it's this is all about like these kids recognizing that they fucked up kind of in their past and coming to grips with that, and that they, whether they moved to Hinamizawa and changing and kind of changed, how they acted or how they treated other people, or knew that they had to get better, get good, not be a piece of shit, not grow up to be a piece of shit. Forgive other people for making mistakes in their past, all of that. Let me say this. I think most people watching phase. Yeah, it's applied to anyone of very age. It's a good catchy chapter in general. Yep, exactly. That's exactly how I'd put it, yeah. Let's see where we were. Catchy says, you heard about my past too, right? I was pretty bad as well. I was such a brat. I regret the stupid things I did. So, I thought moving here was a good opportunity for me to start over.
だから俺はひなみ沢では自分で自分が好きになれる前原圭一だったと思ってる。
I believe I've been the person I wanted to be since I moved to Inamazawa. And I want to say, I wasn't trying to just bring up my thing to be like completely like, look, my experience exactly mirrors Ketchy's, where he, shot people with a BB gun, and then basically his family had to move for a new start. My situation is not obviously exactly like that, but I do remember being like, starting to go like 17 to 18 years old. That's when I decided I was like, I'm, for a lot of different reasons, I was like, I'm gonna go to university. I'm gonna go to a different state to do it. I'm basically saying bye to anyone else I knew past. Like, I was like, it was a conscious effort on my part to be like, this is like an not easy. It actually ended up being quite hard, but like, this is like, a simple way for me to hit like the restart button, but also like come to grips and be like, I experienced what I did in the past years, and I can now grow and change from what I was then, kind of thing. And me and Ketchy, just a couple of goofballs. No, I'm joking.
それはレナもなんだろ?
Isn't it the same with you, Rina?
茨城でどういう生活だったかなんて関係ない。
It doesn't matter how you lived in Ibaraki.
ひなみ沢にいる竜宮レナが大事なんだ。
The important thing is that you're Rina Ryugu. You wanted to be in Hinamizawa.
だから竜宮レナが何者だろうと俺には全然関係ないことだったんだ。
So, I don't care about whoever Reina Ryugu is. Yeah.
そうだよね。そうだよね。
Yeah. You're right. God, I'm gonna be really upset if she just like pulls a hatchet from behind her back and starts swinging at him. Like, we're having this really touching moment, and then she starts just like swinging. Oh my god. I'm hoping we don't go that route.
新しい自分をやり直せる機会は何回あったっていいんだ。
We can start a life over as many times as we want.
そんな機会があるから俺たちは何回も失敗しながら傷つきながらもっと大好きになれる自分を探してさまよえるんじゃないかよ。
We might make a lot of mistakes and hurt ourselves, but that lets us become the people we want to be.
人生に一度や二度のつまずきなんてつきものなんだ。
You fall once or twice in your life, but that's life. You get knocked down, but you get up again. They're never gonna keep you down. Chumbawamba once said,
俺たちはどんどん成長していかなくちゃいけないんだ。
We can't let that beat us down. We have to keep growing.
だからそんなたくましい人の膝に残るかさぶたを見ておぞましく思うなんて最低のことだったんだよ。
So, I was such an asshole for getting scared of you because of your past. Doesn't matter how many times you fall. When you go through life when you go through a lot of pain, you can be kinder to others. So, I don't need to know your past. And even if I knew, it shouldn't have changed the way I treated you. But we were fools. We couldn't understand that until we went through things like this ourselves. Mion knew that from the beginning. We were such fools. We hurt each other, and we made each other cry.
だから竜宮レナはこれまでも今もそしてこれからもいつまでも俺の最高の仲間だ。
So, Rina Ryugu is, and will always be, my best friend forever.
レナが辛い時きっと俺が助けるから俺を信じてくれ。
When you have to go through a hard time, I'll help you no matter what. Trust me on that.
ありがとう。
Thank you.
圭一君を信じるよ。
I trust you, Kechi-kun. It's very tragic, but what she said isn't true. She probably didn't mean to lie, but I knew she didn't trust me from the bottom of her heart. Damn, my words didn't reach her. I knew that because Rina kept telling me to trust her that time. She kept saying those words, while I kept hitting her with the bat. But they still didn't reach me.
私ね、もう多分長くない命だと思うけど。
God, that line hurts. I knew that because Rina kept telling me to trust her that time. She kept saying those words while I kept hitting her with the bat, but they still didn't reach me. Mi corazón. I'm gonna start crying again. Oh, it's raining hard again. Oh, the pollen. Oh, God. Okay. I'm okay. Rina says, I don't think I have much time left.
こんな素敵な圭一君がいるひなみ沢を救うために頑張るよ。
But I'll try my best to save Hinamizawa, because wonderful people like you live here. No, Rina.
奴らなんかにこの村を乗っ取らせない。
I'm not going to let them take over this village.
みんなで楽しく過ごしていた日々を取り戻すために私は戦うよ。
I'll fight so we can regain the peaceful days we had.
奴らの陰謀を必ずやっつけてみせるから。
I'll defeat their conspiracy. She said that she trusted me, but she didn't understand anything I was saying. Even if I kept telling her that the conspiracy was Takano-san's delusion, it wouldn't reach her.
ありがとう、圭一君。
Thank you, Kechi-kun.
レナを許してくれて。
Thank you for forgiving me. I do. I forgive you. So, please forgive me for what I did to you.
きっとひなみ沢を救う。
I'm going to save Hinamizawa. I promise.
だから圭一君、
So, Kechi-kun,
力を貸して。
will you help me?
圭一君だけは信じられる。
I trust you. Only you, Kechi-kun.
圭一君となら救えると思ってる。
We can save Hinamizawa together.
レナレナ
Rina. I knew how bad of a corner Rina was driven into. If I was her, I'd be walking around with a baseball bat, thinking every single person around me was my enemy. Rina cared about me so much, but I saw her as my worst enemy. But Rina, you still trust me, even when you're driven into this bad of a corner. I couldn't understand what you were saying. I beat you to death while you kept telling me to trust you. But you're different. You still trust me? You are so...
どうして泣いてるの？
Why? Are you crying?
許してくれ許してくれ。
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
俺はもう絶対にレナを裏切らないから。
I'll never betray you.
レナのことを信じるから。
I trust you, Rina.
だから許してくれ。
So please forgive me.
何のことを言ってるのかよくわかんない。
I don't know what you're talking about.
圭一君はいつもレナのことを信じてくれてるよ。
You've always believed in me, Kechi-kun.
だからレナも圭一君のことを信じてる。
So I trust you too.
信じていいんだよね。
I can trust you, right? You know, it would be a sick sadistic, not a twist to this, and maybe not twist might not be the right word, but we've now gone in from the moment last time we were in the classroom, and Rika and Kechi basically had a moment where they're like, Rika's like, oh, you realize the past sins things, and like you get that. And he's like, I kind of do. I kind of understand. It doesn't make much sense to me, but I kind of understand. And she's like, okay, that's good enough. Like, they had that thing. And then it was made clear that characters like Satoko had no idea what they were talking about. And then Kechi says, well, fuck, Rina probably doesn't have she doesn't remember this thing. She doesn't remember me beating her to death with a baseball bat in a previous, as we were saying, previous timeline or whatever, in a previous universe. But what if she does? And it's just that hasn't been communicated to him. What if she is doing all this under the realization of like different things happening? I don't know what that would necessarily mean for the story on a big picture, but like, what if she's doing this not just out of like extreme, I mean, obviously out of like obviously there is that extreme paranoia, but what if this is her like just being like, well, I'm just doing something different this time. And I do remember getting beaten with a baseball bat by Kechi that one time. Again, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what point I'm trying to make, but I'm just saying, like, the one thing I would say is, like, you know, it was interesting that in that moment it was like, oh, Kechi and of course Rika, as we already previously knew, were like, okay, we have together some understanding that something like this has happened in the past, and things obviously played out differently. And then it was kind of made clear that that like I said, a character like Satoko had no idea what was talking about, so he just extrapolated that to Rina and was like, oh, Rina doesn't know, and she doesn't know that the last time something like this happened, and I beat her and Mion to death with a baseball bat because I was under this extreme paranoia. But then the weird twist would be like, she reveals, maybe she does that later in this chapter. Like I said, they start fighting, and then she goes, anyway, I do remember, I don't know what she'd say, but it was the alien controlling you when you beat. maybe, yeah. What if she's like, she goes like, oh man, it's all. She's like, she's so far down the conspiracy rabbit hole of some sort that she's like, I don't know. Anyway, so I trust you too. I can trust you, right?
圭一君だけはレナを信じてくれるんだよね。
You're the only one who trusts me, right? Tears fell from my eyes. I sobbed and nodded again and again to answer her. Tears welled up in Rina's eyes too. Before I knew it, we were putting our foreheads together with tears in our eyes.
あのね、
Well,
私ね、この戦いを終わらせる方法を見つけたの。
I found a way to end this battle.
本当か？
Really?
うん。
Yeah.
勝ち目のほとんどない方法だけど、私にできる一番の抵抗だと思う。
I might not stand a chance, but this is the best and only resistance I can think of.
レナ、それがどんな方法かは知らないけど、
Rina,
それが終わった後、俺たちはみんなでまた楽しかった元の日々に戻れるんだよな。
Rina, I don't know what you're going to do, but if you do that, we can regain our happy days, right?
戻れるんだよな。
We can't we?
そうじゃなくちゃ嫌だ。
We have to.
俺はお前をこの場から行かせない。
Or I'm not going to let you go anywhere.
大丈夫だよ、圭一君。
Don't worry, Kitchkin.
元の幸せな日々に戻るための起死回生、逆転の最後の一手なんだから。
It's going to be a come from behind victory, and we'll regain our happy days for sure. I don't know what she had on her mind. It began with a delusion, and it'd end with a delusion. Oof. If I encouraged her too much, she'd twist it into an attack on her own. Or, I don't know why I added own. She'd twist it into attack on her. I was like that at that time. I took Rina's goodwill as a complete opposite thing. So, I stopped denying her story. This was Rina's battle. Damn, a really, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't type thing in his eyes. It was her lonely battle. She had to fight against her own delusion. The more we tried to help her, the more we drove her into a corner. But I would always be there for her. Whenever she needed help, she could reach me. I wanted to let her know that, so I said just one thing.
俺は最後の瞬間までレナの味方だからな。
I'm on your side until the very last moment.
絶対にレナの
No
味
matter,
方だからな。
no matter what, I'm on your side. Even if I told her to trust me, I knew she couldn't right now. I knew that, but I told her those words anyway. Even if she couldn't believe them, and if she tried to smash my head in, I'd say those words. I'd keep saying them until I die.
ありがとうケイチ君。
Thank you, Kechi-kun.
明日でね。きっと全部終わるの。
Everything will be over tomorrow.
きっと私たちは勝つよ。
We'll win for sure.
そしたらまたみんなで楽しく部活をしよう。
And then, we can play around in the club together again.
みんなで
With everyone.
私たちが一番楽しかった時を取り戻そう。
We'll return to our happiest times. Although she wished to regain our happy times so badly, I couldn't get rid of the darkness that controlled her mind.
じゃあ私はこれで行くね。
Well, I have to go now.
明日の準備があるから。
I have to get ready for tomorrow. Oh God, Rina, what are you gonna do? Oh my God, the dread. That familiar dread feeling is coming back to me. To tell the truth, I didn't want to let her go. I wanted to stop her even if I had to grab her arm. But I couldn't stop her like that. If I grabbed her arm, she wouldn't trust me anymore.
待てよレナ。
Wait, Rina,
明日の準備って。
what do you have to do to get ready for tomorrow?
内緒。
It's a secret. That's not what you want to hear.
ケイチ君に協力してもらうこともあるかもしれないけど、その時はレナを助けてね。
I might ask you for help later. You'll help me when I do, right?
ああ、当然だぜ。
Of course. I nodded strongly so she could tell that I was still on her side. But I didn't know what her comfort behind victory meant at this point. First thing I could think of is that she was going to invade the house of the Sonozaki family, which she thought was her enemy. So, I called Mion to warn her after Rina left. Mion laughed bitterly and said, "Why does everybody want us to be the bad guy so much?" But she understood the situation.
いっそ悪役に徹しさせてもらってもいいよ。
It'd be easier if we really did act like the bad guys.
レナが妙なことをしでかす前に踏んじばって病院に担ぎ込むのもいいかもしれない。
It might be better if we tied her down and took her to a hospital.
本当に最後の最後まで行ったらそれも仕方ないかもな。
If it comes to that, I guess we have no choice.
でもレナを信じたいんだ。
But I want to believe her
最後のギリギリまで。
until the last second.
あいつはこんなに心が追い詰められても俺をまだ信じるだけの心の強さがあるんだ。
She still had the strong heart to trust me no matter how badly she's been driven to a corner.
俺とは違う。
She's not like me.
だからきっとレナは妄想に打ち勝てるはずなんだ。
So, I'm sure she can defeat her delusion.
最近ケイちゃんとリカちゃんが何を言ってるのかおじさんちょっと分かりかねるんだよな。
It's hard for this old man to understand what you and Rika-chan have been talking about these days.
なんか最近ヘビーなことでもあったわけ？
Did anything serious happen lately? You could say it happened lately in a way. I killed Mion a couple of days after the festival.
悪いな。意味のわかんない話ばっかりしちゃって。
I'm sorry I've been talking crazy lately.
それよりレナのこと見損なったりしないでくれ。
Anyway, please don't lose confidence in Rina, alright?
そんなわけないよ。
You know I won't.
誰だってたまには心が風邪をひく時があるって。
Anyone can catch a cold with a heart sometimes.
レナのこれもその程度のこと。
It just happened to Rena this time, and that's all.
まあちょいと熱は高いみたいだけど、すっきりケロッと治ってすぐに笑い話になっちゃうって。
Well, she has a relatively high fever, but I'm sure she'll get better soon, and we can laugh about this later.
ケイちゃんが思ってるほど事態は悪くなってないよ。
It's not as bad as you think, Ki-chan.
大石の大バカ野郎は自分の誤解を認めた。
That silly Oishi admitted his mistake.
例の件は発生自体にも気づいてない。
He doesn't even know about you know what.
だからこのままレナの空騒ぎでしたってことで決着できる。
So, we'll just say Rena overreacted a little bit, and this will be over.
そうなのか？
Really?
空騒ぎで決着できそうなのか？
You really think you can do that?
そういうことで決着させんのが園崎本家次期当主のミオン様の手腕じゃないの。
Did you forget that I'm the next head of the Sonozaki family? I have both the skill and the power to do that.
某料亭でね、大石とおじさんが1対1で対談してちゃんと誤解を解いてきたわけよ。
This old man had a meeting with Oishi at a restaurant today, and we cleared up all the misunderstandings.
大石はタジタジ。
Oishi was shaking in fear the whole time.
いやー、おじさんもなかなかやるね。
Hey, I'm pretty good, don't you think? Mion bragged about her achievement, laughing loudly. I could tell she was exaggerating a little. Anyway, compared to the sense of impending doom Rena seems to be feeling, the others seem to be taking it rather easy. It was all up to Rena now. If she understood everything, she'd go back to the peaceful world she wished for. We were waiting for her to reach out to us, just like we did by the abandoned car at the garbage dump that day. Rena, I couldn't win, but I know you can, because you're the one who told me to have faith until the end. So I know you can win. That didn't mean that she could literally win the last battle she was talking about earlier. But Rena would win. She'd win, and she'd regain her peaceful life. I am so 50-50 split. I have no idea if this chapter is going to end in heartbreak or good in a nice fashion.
もう明日なのです。
Alright, it's called last night. Tomorrow is a day.
ん？
Oh, it's one of these things.
私たちの命日？
Hmm? Oh, you mean the day we die?
今回も同じ顛末なのです。
It's going to end up the same way this time, just like the last time.
そうかしら。よく似てるけど、いろいろと違うところもあったわ。
I don't know about that. It's been very similar to the last one, but there are some things that were different too.
ケイチ、前のことを覚えてたし。
Ketchi remembered what happened.
そんなことはありえないのです。覚えているわけ、いや、知っているわけはないのです。
That's impossible. There's no way he could remember. I mean, there's no way he could know.
あんたが絶対にありえないと言ってくれればくれるほど。じゃあこれは本当に奇跡なんだって思えるわね。
I'd cut her off there. The more you say it's absolutely impossible, the more it makes it feel like this is a real miracle.
どうせ今回もおしまいです。
There's nothing we can do. It's going to end up the same way again.
おしまいかしら。
I'm not sure about that.
もうすぐ終わる。全部終わる。
Yes, it will. Everything will be over. You know what? As a strong Rika supporter in me, if she says that it might be a miracle, things might be different, I can't help but believe her. I gotta believe her over the triple question mark character here.
そう。日暮らしの泣く頃に。
Ah, when the Higurashi cry. Was it all going to end anyway? The more often you throw a die, the closer the total will get to the average. When you throw a die 100 times, even if a miracle happens and you get a 6 twice or 3 times in a row, the total will average out in the end. That's a fact of statistics. But when you throw a die 100 times, the total number ranges from 100 to 600. The more you throw, the greater the likelihood that the number will converge on the average. But the truth is, the more you throw, the more possible outcomes you create. There are 500 different futures you can create by throwing a die 100 times. There are 5,000 different futures you can create by throwing a die 1,000 times. There might be one future among them that enables you to actually finish this never-ending game of dice. Kechi showed me a miracle, and it taught me that it's not a waste of effort to keep throwing the die. Don't give in to something like an average.
イラつく背中を見せるわね。どうせ今回もダメだろうって、そういう哀愁でいっぱいよ。
You think we'll never have a different ending, don't you? I can tell, because it's written all over your face.
私だってどうせダメだろうと思ってる。でもね、最後のサイコロを投げるまで私は諦めない。
I think so too. I think we're going to have the same ending this time again. But I'm not going to give up hope until I throw the die for the last time.
圭一が教えてくれた。
Kechi taught me that.
今回は何かが違うの。
Something is going to be different this time.
だからそれを信じてみる。
I'll try to believe in that.
リカは本当に強いのです。
Rika, you're a very strong person.
まあね、あんたよりはずっと若いし。
Yeah, I know. That's because I'm a lot younger than you.
リカ
Yeah, Rika.
み
Me?
こんな時間に起きてて、夜更かしはダメでございましてよ。
Why are you still awake? Yawn. It's not good to stay up so late.
ごめんなさいなのです。
I'm
寝
sorry.
苦しかったので星を見ていただけなのですよ。
I couldn't sleep, so I was just looking at the stars.
もう寝ますです。
I'm going to bed now.
そうなさいませ。おやすみリカ。
Please do. Good night, Rika.
おやすみなのです。さとこ。
Good night, Satoko. Interesting. Much to ponder, much to think about. Alright, that'll do it for Higurashi tonight and also for the week. As I keep repeating, no Higurashi on Saturday. In fact, no streams. So are we saving Arena or not? For a cop-out answer, I'm going to say we don't save Rena, but something happens to give either Rika or Rika and Kechi for some reason hope for the next chapters, if that makes sense. I mean, it's such a nebulous term, right? Saving Rena. I don't think we save Rena. I think something unfortunate ends up happening to Rena, and then we go through the rest of the unfortunate happenings of Hinamizawa, as we've seen in the past. But I think there's gonna be either some kind of reveal or some kind of happening that does instill hope into the main important character that needs to see something different, as we kind of saw there at the tip there. I think Rika sees something, some kind of potential, gets Rika back on the train of hope, and I think, or the reader, most importantly, I think something happens to then us as the reader goes like, us as the reader now knows that like there's a certain outcome that this omnipotent being Rika is searching for, that we're now privy to. I think us as the reader, we're going to see something that's like, oh shit, this is the way this can all work out. Something along those lines, if that makes sense. Next segment is pretty long, by the way. I don't know if you'll have enough time for the next Tuesday stream. I think I see what you're saying. If that's the case, then I have no like issue just not finishing a full stretch of section, chapter, or whatever, in one stream. That was bound to happen at some point. I knew we'd get to a part where there's going to be like long stretches for like clean breaks or clean endings. It actually happened a lot. It's actually funny, like during this whole Higurashi series, I've been a lot better at finishing in between like chapter section things. But like during the Umineko playthrough, like it was much more frequent that I would just, we just pick a place and just call an end there. So like that's totally, if that's what's gonna have to be done, then that's totally fine. Because I don't want to, like I said, I'm not going to be able to make it Saturday stream, but I also don't want to not stream next Tuesday Higurashi as well. So if it's like, if that next section is like super long, then yeah, we'll just pick a spot that feels right. We'll read for a couple, 2 to 3 hours or whatever next Tuesday. And then maybe finish it that Saturday. So then we finish, then we'll have the clean break on Saturday kind of thing. Something like that, if that makes sense. Because I imagine when you're like, oh, it's a long section, then I'm thinking like, oh, it's like a 5 to 6 hour stretch thing for my pace, at least, of reading, right? So then if it's like, oh, we do 2 to 3 hours Tuesday and then like 3 to 4 hours on Saturday, then we'd be fine. We'll see. We'll figure it out. Umineko doesn't have good cutting points like Higurashi. Yeah, I know. That was one of the bigger shocks, or like, I don't want to say shocks, but differences I immediately noticed. I was like, oh, Higurashi does it like quite differently than Umineko from last year. So yeah, tomorrow will be the last stream of the week. Rest of the week will be off. I'm thinking tomorrow we'll probably check out a little more. We'll do a casual Zenless Zone Zero hangout for like an hour. And then continue what I was going to do on Monday and then changed. We'll do some more of that Talos Principle DLC. Higurashi next Tuesday will resume. We'll probably cry some more. I'll get emotional. Standard fare stuff. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday night. Have a great Wednesday as well. I'll be back tomorrow. If I don't see you then. Have a great week. And until then, until another stream, take it easy.